Welcome everyone to Leicester Road Football Club in Hinckley. It is playoff time. It's a quarter-final clash between the Lancashire Wolverines, who are visiting the Leicester Falcons today. The tensions are mounting. The players, as you can see, have been warming up on the field, getting ready for this critical encounter for a place in the semi-finals in the playoffs, with a chance to play in Leeds on the 8th and 9th of September for a chance for Premiership promotion. The stakes couldn't be higher. The loser goes home, the winner goes on to the semi-final. It's a nice day here. There's a bit of wind in the stadium, but the rain has managed not to trouble us so far. And I'm joined here with George Lee, so welcome to our live production for you. I'm here with George Lee, he's my commentator for today. Good to see you, George.
Good to see you. How are you doing?
Very good, thank you. And I'm Carl Walkinshaw, joining you for this playoff match, which is why we're all dressed up, George.
Oh, well, I'm always dressed up. I don't know what you lot are gallivanting about halfway through the season, but why not? Special occasions.
We like to make the effort for the playoffs. Let's talk about this Leicester team first of all. Leicester have been dominant so far this season, really impressive. 10 wins out of 10, and they come into these playoffs probably as the favourite, George. What do you think?
Leicester dominant, and they've been number one in double coverage as power rankings all the way through the season. Nobody in their own divisions really scared them. I think it's going to be a real interesting match, but I think Leicester should take this.
Yeah, and Leicester have so many weapons on offence, don't they? We've seen a lot of them. Last time we covered the Sandwell Leicester game, which was really the tightest game that Leicester have faced, and they still have so many weapons, especially at running back, where you've got that excellent stable, haven't you?
Oh, they've got so many runners. I mean, Marcus Francis, just to name one, absolutely outstanding. Adam Gums, not your traditional size running back, but absolutely dominant. And worth mentioning, they don't, whilst Joe Brammer starts at quarterback for them, they don't seem to have an issue when they drop their second and third strings in.
Yeah, and they're one of the most high-scoring. We're going to see two high-scoring offences today, actually, but Leicester Falcons just top it. I think they score about an average of 37 points a game. So that's
some incredible going, that is.
Yeah, they can put points on the field anywhere. And as well as their running backs, they have these fantastic receivers as well. Some of them from the States, others just from other clubs around the country. Recruitment's gone well, others that they've homegrown in Leicester.
Yeah, very much so. Kyron Watts being the statesman, as it were. Dominant. He's experienced at university level, Premiership, and of course he's had a couple of years now playing for the Falcons and flying high out there at receiver as well. So,
and another man to watch that we didn't see against Sandwell is probably Gabardon, number 7. He's a real threat both in special teams and through the air.
Yeah, he's a quality player. Again, another Derby player. Got a number of years experience under his belt. A big receiver as well. They like those big targets, and he does a great job when he gets the ball in hand.
Yeah, and defensively, they're no slouches either, are they? They're very good on defence. They play a kind of 3-5 defence, but they have some stars, Michael Freuf being one of those that were impressed against Sandwell. But then there's that man, Taylor Brown.
Yeah, I mean, arguably the best defensive player in the country. Another statesman, but he's humble, he's willing to help coach his players, coach his teammates around him, and you can see that on the field.
You can get involved with us, join in with the show today. We'd love to hear from you. It's hashtag LEI Leicester versus LAN, LEI versus LAN. Tweet us up and we'll read some of those out. We're very much, wherever you're joining us from, whether you're around the world or UK, whether you're a coach, a player, a family member, a supporter, you're very welcome to our broadcast today. It's great to have you with us. There are other key critical games going on as well around the country, but let's turn our attention to Lancashire. Lancashire had a very good season. The expectations weren't high for this team, but they've done very well, George.
Yeah, they have. 7-2-1. Not quite the start they'd have wanted. Looking there, Gateshead Senators, that 33-all tie. Lancashire relegated recently from the Premiership division, but have really held their own. Really, the Northumberland Vikings, and you can see it on your screen, the only time they've really tripped up. But they have an outstanding offence, as you said pre-game. The second best in the North, but the defence has leaves room to be improved, I think.
Yeah, you'd have to say, wouldn't you, George, that last game against Lancashire, against Northumberland rather, that's the only team that they've not really been able to conquer. They had that 7-game winning streak, but still when it came to the crunch at the end of the season, they weren't able to get over the hump and beat that Northumberland team. That would have given them the division title. Yeah,
it would, but Northumberland an outstanding unit, and of course they're playing Falcons divisional rivals today, the Steelers, Sandwell Steelers, so that'll be an intriguing game as well. But Lancashire have it all to play for here.
It's interesting, isn't it, to reflect when you come to this critical part of the season that it's difficult to gauge who's got the edge because we don't have inter-conference rivalries during that regular season.
Yeah, and I'm not even sure the Falcons have played Lancashire before as well. So if that's correct, it'll be the first time they've played them. Never mind in a playoff situation. So we'll see what they can bring.
In terms of the offence, this is a team, Lancashire, that can score points. They very much rely on the David Meads for their quarterback. He runs the ball, he passes the ball. He's a do-it-all player for them. We're looking forward to seeing him today. And then John Halliwell at running back. He's a very strong running back that they've got. And they also have good receivers, being led probably by number 2, Schofield, who scored some touchdowns against Northumberland when they played last. But this is not a unit that's going to be a walkover for Leicester.
No, and it shouldn't be. You're in a playoff situation now. Leicester have struggled a bit with versatile quarterbacks. They tend to be the ones that can put the points on the board. So we'll see if their defence can contain that.
Yeah, and defensively, they're no slouches either. I think they average about 16 points per game, Lancashire. But as you say, they gave up a lot of points against those Northumberland Vikings.
And that'll be a worry just 2 weeks ago as well. Whether that was down to injuries or a quality outfit that they were playing. A lot of the Northumberland team are members of the Durham Saints University squad, so a talented offence they will have been up against. But if they are recovered from injuries and they've got everyone here today, it should make for a great game.
Let's see if we can run some highlights for you of their last games, just as we talk here about some of the key matchups. From your perspective, George, what do you think of the key matchups on the field? Is it quarterbacks versus DBs? I
think so. Certainly from the Lancashire side of things, their offence is going to be quarterbacks, receivers versus those very, very effective defensive backs that the Leicester Falcons have. You've got Taylor Brown back there, that roaming safety. So we'll see what happens.
So we're looking at some highlights of the last game between Lancashire and Northumberland that we've talked to a couple of times. You're just watching on the screen there the Vikings answering the first touchdown that Lancashire scored. It was a very high-scoring game, this one. I think this was a score from Halliwell from 3 yards out. Lancashire taking the early lead on this, but then the Vikings coming back with 4 touchdowns on the trot.
Yeah, and I think that'll be the biggest worry. They actually went into half-time leading and, as you say, gave up four touchdowns. And if you do that here against the Falcons or give them a slight inkling of a chance, they'll take it.
But you can see now David Meads, again, the quarterback, number 17, going in for his second touchdown of the day. Actually scored 3 on the day in total. And he is a danger man, and he does work well with Halliwell. You know, sometimes he's handing it off, sometimes he keeps it himself.
Yeah, and the Falcons will be aware of that, I'm sure. The issue is if he's not got great chemistry with the rest of his receivers, the Falcons DBs stack up very, very well. They've got Wayne Gums back off his leg injury today, their defensive coordinator. He's back playing, another talented defensive back to add to that stable of defensive players that they've got.
This is where the Vikings began to pull away a bit. You can see Poindexter, their quarterback, throwing the ball long, and the actual score on that one was 52 points scored by the Vikings on this Lancashire defence, and 42 to the Lancashire. So as we said, you know, the Wolverines can clearly score points, but the trick is going to be today, looking at the film there, can they stop these Leicester Falcons receivers?
Well, that's the thing, and as we've mentioned one or two already, very, very talented, very explosive receivers as well when they need to be for the Falcons. And looking at that, a lot of the yardage they were giving up, a lot of the points were coming off passing plays, so that will be a concern.
See if we can get some footage of the last game for the Leicester Falcons while we talk about the matchup. A key matchup for me, George, I don't know whether you agree, is going to be those running backs against the front seven of this Wolverines defence.
Yeah, very much so. We've said quite a lot about the quarterbacks and the receivers for the Falcons so far, who are very, very talented. But when you've got 4 or 5 top quality running backs like the Falcons have, you've got so many threats and so many different running styles. It makes for a defence a very hard job to stop.
Yeah, you're just watching the pictures between Sandwell and Leicester, which was a very good game. That was a score from Tristan Varney on a slant play. Then Gums, you can see one of those running backs in the Leicester Falcons stable going in from 2 yards. Although the Leicester Falcons were driving up and down the field with their running games, it was left to Joe Brammer to score many of the touchdowns, and he did a spectacular job. This one, another one to Kieran Watts, who actually scored 3 on the day at the back of the end zone. A big Ranger receiver that we've talked about.
And you look at that highlight that's just flashed up on your screen. Really good coverage by the defensive back, but Kieran just absolutely doing what he does best, taking it in. I think he actually caught it off the defensive back's helmet.
Absolutely. And there were a couple of those catches, 50-50 balls that the Falcons came down with.
Yeah, but when you've you've got good, talented and big receivers, they're going to come down with that more often than the defensive backs are.
The Sandwell Steelers did have that consolation touchdown towards the end as Taylor Brown, that key man, was off the field, couldn't chase this one down because he was injured with a hamstring. We are reassured that he's going to be playing today and he's fully healed. Yeah,
very much so. And when he went down, you could almost hear the gasp on the sideline because he really is the role model for the team. He's the key man for them on defense. He really sticks the glue together, holds it together like glue, shall I say. Quality player, but it's glad to see that he's back. Recently married as well, so I'm sure he'll be glad to be out the house.
Yeah.
But no, he will be a key person. But let's see how fit he is. Whether he's 100%, nobody really knows.
Yeah, we'll have to see. There were other injuries as well. Gums went out with an injury last time. Marcus Francis hurt his finger playing against Sandwell. So although the coach is saying everyone's healthy, it'll be interesting to see how those players perform today on the field.
Very much so.
All right, so it's a great atmosphere here. You can probably hear the music in the background. I think we're going to take a short break in a second, and we'll come back with you and for you. We're going to bring coaches' interviews, both with Alex Dunn from the Lancashire Wolverines, and we'll be bringing you an interview with Noel Cassar, head coach of the Leicester Falcons. So join us after this quick break. I think don't give it too long. Just run the interviews. Yeah, we're back. The interviews then. Hi, welcome back, guys. We're going to run some interviews with the head coaches now. Hopefully, we will have those lined up. We're going to run. The first one is going to be with Noel Cassar of the Leicester Falcons.
Thank you.
It was the win against Sandwell and it was the conference time. What's happened since then? Tell us about Doncaster.
We played Doncaster. It's just a small squad they had. They're good players. They've got a good QB. We rested a lot of players, mainly backups were playing. But in our minds, we always had how many goals we need, touchdowns we need to concede regarding the Newcastle game as well. We were joint against points going into their last game. So we played a strongish defence, but everybody got a game, which is good, pleasing. As you can see by numbers today, they're all miraculously back fit, and the magic water has worked.
We saw a lot of injuries as Screech joined us for the pre-game interview. Thank you, Screech.
Yeah.
We saw a lot of injuries in the last game. Were they all cleared up?
All cleared up. I've got 6 players missing. None of them are injured, so everybody's back. 6 players just can't make it. Other commitments, which is fair enough. Yeah, we're full squad, full team.
Looking forward to today. Lancashire obviously visiting.
Yeah.
They were ranked number 2 in their division. But what are the threats from Lancashire that you see?
The threats, they've got a QB that's manoeuvrable. He runs around everywhere. He runs when there's nothing on. They've got a good running back at 21, really good player. Number 2 is a good receiver. So yeah, they run very run heavy, I think. But they're a good side. I went up last week to watch, like I said, and learned a few things from there.
These teams can score points, can't they?
Yeah, both. Yeah, we can. Yeah, their offense can score against our teams, and vice versa. It's going to be a great game. I hope so. Like I said to you before, these are the games I want to play in. I don't want to play in the Coventries, and no disrespect to any other team, but I want to be in a league where where, like I told the players, you got to fear it. Today you should fear. You should have that fear in your belly. But to get to the fear, you have to get there to begin with, and that's where we are now. We're up there. Winner takes all. One game, anything could happen.
Excellent. And is there any strategy changes today, Coach?
No, nothing. Players we've always done all year. Why change it? We've scored the most points, so why should I change it? I'll leave it as it is. No problem. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Yeah, mate, your turn.
We spoke to Noel Cassar talking about fear in the belly. We also spoke to Alex Dunn, head coach of the Lancashire Wolverines. Here's the interview. Right, I'm here with the Lancashire Wolverines head coach, Alex. Good to see you, Alex Dunn. Welcome along.
Hi.
It's been a great season for Lancashire, hasn't it? Tell us a little bit about your season so far.
Yeah, I'm the new head coach coming in this year. Last year when I wasn't around, they had a pretty awful time. So this year we've exceeded a lot of expectations. We weren't ranked at all coming into this season. Didn't make the top 10 in DC's list. So yeah, we've done a lot better than a lot of people were expecting us to do. We're quite a new team. We've got all new coaching staff. Most of our players only joined us in the last 12 months. So
we'll
yeah,
go straight. We'll go now.
We're still in
we'll
a rebuild year, technically, but no, we are, yeah.
In terms of those battles that you had with the Northumberland Vikings as well, that was the only team really that had your number, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. They were a really tough team. We put them in a similar kind of bracket as these guys. Yeah, they got a lot of really good athletes dotted about all over the place, and yeah, it comes down to a lot of individual matchups that we need to win.
And we know you can score points. You're a high-scoring team. You average, I think, it's about 36 points a game, something like that.
Yeah.
Is that what you're looking to today?
Yeah, absolutely. No, we'll be looking to fire on all cylinders, as always. We've got a good offense. We've got some really good players on the offense. They all work hard for each other. We've got good players in every position. And yeah, I'm proud of them. They've done really well this year, our offense.
And defensively, what are the keys going to be for you in terms of stopping this Leicester Falcons offense?
The keys is Mr. Brown, who plays on both sides of the ball. He's a baller. We obviously need to contain him all day. He's not the only one by a long stretch either. They've got, again, like I said, lots of good players in lots of positions and lots of individual battles that we're going to have to match or better today.
What's the message going to be to the players before they take the field today?
Message to the players is just to stay as one. I mean, one of our main ethoses this year has been we are one. We play as one. We band together when things are tough, which in the past we've not done so well in previous years. So this year the spirit within the team is really, really strong, really positive, and yeah, we'll be looking to continue with that.
Excellent. Thanks, Coach Dunn.
Cheers.
We wish you all the very best for the game and hopefully catch up with you afterwards.
Thanks, man.
Well, welcome everyone up to the booth now, and you'll join us just for the coin toss of these two teams in this critical playoff. You can see there number 66, Richard Swain, who the Leicester Falcons are celebrating today. He celebrates his 100th appearance for the Leicester Falcons. He's been a mainstay of the Falcons offensive line since 2008, and we salute him. Well done, Richard, and we hope he has a good game today. He's mentored a lot of players over the years. And the Leicester Falcons only starting in 2008 in regular league football, so it's an achievement for him.
Well, it's 10 games a year. 10 games a year, but he is a towering man when you see him on the sideline as well. So plenty of experience and a very, very good player.
Well, we're going to turn our attention to the main event today as this game, this critical playoff fixture, George, is about to kick off. It's the tensions here. The music's on, the cheerleaders are here, the crowd's large,
and we're looking forward to burgers.
You can smell
those burgers.
We're looking forward to an excellent game of playoff football as the Lancashire Wolverines line up with their two returners. And I think it will be number 10 to kick off for the Leicester Falcons, Danny Burton, who has a good leg. We saw him hoofing the ball
actually
earlier.
Looks like it might be a different kicker. Looks like 17, Tom Jarrett, will be on kicking duties.
Quite right, George. Good spot.
You are right. It's usually Burton that kicks off, but big boot.
James Schofield back to return this one, and he's just going to let that one roll out of the end zone for a touchback. So the Lancashire Wolverines will come out for the first drive, and we'll see that offence for the first time against Div1 South competition. So we'll see how David Meads does in leading out this Lancashire offence.
Yeah, man to look out for, Taylor Brown, number 4, roaming at the back. Has started on this defensive drive.
So the Lancashire Wolverines lining up in that familiar spread formation, running back to the right-hand side as David Meads looks to take that first snap of the game. Shotgun snap is a screen out to the right-hand side, but this one's incomplete. He was trying to get to number 8, Jonathan Lee, but unfortunately couldn't connect on that one.
Looks like it was the Falcons 25, Joel Gregory, that was going to make the hit. That's not a nice pass to start the game.
Yeah, trying to calm themselves down, I think, in this playoff game and just get something short to get going, but it's going to bring up 2nd and 10. Shotgun again for Meads. Two receivers to the bottom of the screen, but this time he hands it off to Halliwell. And Halliwell up the middle of that Leicester Falcons defence. A good initial push through that line, but it's only going to net 1 yard, so it's going to bring up 3rd and long.
Yeah, it's not the start they'll have been looking for, but we'll see if they can pick it up. I think they're on, it looks like they've marked them at 3rd and 7.
So 3rd and 7, critical down now for this early part of the game. Blitz coming from the Falcons in the middle. That
Nice.
one's tipped and defended well by number 18 of the Leicester Falcons.
Looks like Dan Powell was the man that knocked that ball down, and it was really nice coverage as well. Timed it well, put it straight on the deck, and the punt team will come out.
So the Lancashire Wolverines on their first drive from scrimmage only able to net 3 yards or so on that drive, and that's going to disappoint them as they line up to punt this one away to this high-powered Leicester Falcons offense. And that man, Taylor Brown, number 4, is back to receive this punt. Already scored 2 touchdowns on punt returns so far this season, so he is a very dangerous returner. Let's see what the Lancashire Wolverines can do on this punt. Dino Veneza back to punt. High punt, but short. Doesn't make it into... Now it rolls into Leicester Falcons territory, and it's picked up by number 39.
Yeah, Falcons didn't put a great deal of pressure on there.
So Lee Moi picking that one up and downing it, but that's going to give the Leicester Falcons good starting field position on their own 40-yard line for their first series. So what sort of offense do you think we're going to see today, George? Is it going to be the offense that we've seen so far with lots of running attack?
Don't change what ain't broke. And you look, we've got the 2 biggest running backs they've possibly got available, Gums and Francis, so I suspect we'll see a run to come out with.
So Brammer lining up from shotgun, does hand off to Francis, as George said, who barrels his way up the middle of that defence and pushes his way for a gain of about 5 yards. That's going to bring up 2nd and 5, and that's a taste of things to come.
Yeah,
Welcome
nice,
to the
nice
game,
5
Marcus.
yards, but usually they make more on the first run of the game. So, 5 yards, I think any offensive coordinator would quite happily take that as it brings up 2nd down.
So 2nd and 5 now as Brammer with those 2 running backs either side of him. 2 receivers to the bottom of your screen here, 1 to the top. Lancashire showing blitz from one of the linebackers. They bring 5. It's a handoff to Gums up the middle, and it's a big hole. Still on his feet and barreling his way all the way to the 30-yard line.
It needs to be a big hole to get him through, but as you say, a very, very big hole. Although nearly fumbling it on the snap, you might have just caught the tail end of the football, almost side saddle his hip, but nice pickup by him.
Yeah, the ball sort of rolled around his body, didn't he? He had to grab it off his hip like a gunslinger.
I think he was trying to do some basketball skills, a bit of Kevin Durant.
So that gives them a new set of downs. First and 10 from the 30-yard line of Lancashire. Brammer taking the snap and dropping back. It's a deep drop, and he is looking deep. It's number 11, and that should have been caught.
Through the fingertips as well.
That was the receiver Alex Priest, who's made an impact this season. We've seen his season stats, and he is one of the go-to guys for these Leicester Falcons, but that one incomplete. They would have liked to have connected there, George.
Yeah, I think so, but they'll come up 2nd and 10.
So 2nd and 10 for these Leicester Falcons from the 30-yard line. This drive started back at the 40-yard line, but they're making ground with their running game. Not yet completed a pass as Brammer in the shotgun. Hands off to Gums this time, and that's a great defensive play as number 15 for the Lancashire Wolverines. Lewis Norton comes knifing in on the play,
yeah, we haven't
and
seen
takes
that.
his man down.
We haven't seen that very often, but a wonderful wrap tackle, going nice and low on a big running back. Can't go anywhere without his legs.
Absolutely. They play this 3 down linemen, don't they? But they can bring pressure from those linebackers from a lot of different directions. And on that play, number 15, the linebacker knifing through Lewis Norton to make that play.
Yeah, well read.
That brings up a long 3rd down. So can Lancashire hold firm here just outside field goal range and get the ball back? Brammer takes the shotgun, looks to his right and fires right, and it's complete. Beautiful bulleted pass in there to
right
the wide
right
receiver.
on the line. Priest breaking back to catch that ball. Not quite getting... Oh, they have given him the first down. I thought he'd fallen short. But Priest does appear to have the beating of his receivers, his cornerback so far today.
No pressure on Brammer so far. He seems to have a clean pocket, that big offensive line. No threat yet from Lancashire. They're going to need to get some pressure on Brammer, aren't they, if they're going to slow up this aerial attack. Coming out now for first down. It's a new set of downs now from about the 17-yard line of Lancashire. Leicester threatening. Handoff. Well, Brammer's keeping it and going around the left-hand side, and he has room. He's at the 5, and he barrels his way in for the opening touchdown. So that threat from Francis used as a decoy, and Brammer keeps the ball for a 17-yard scamper to the left side of the end zone, and the Falcons are in.
Would I be right in saying that that even beat your eyes?
It did, George. Yeah, I was looking at... I think everyone was looking at Marcus Francis.
It was a very good handoff in the backfield. The quarterbacks this year for the Falcons, and this is where we say 1, 2, 3 that they've got. Really doesn't make a difference in terms of the running game. They all have very, very good sleight of hand. And as a quarterback, if you can do that, and you saw it there, he had so much space. And we in a good spot to see. Even I got caught slightly.
It's a fake on the field goal, but it's a muffed attempt on the PAT. And the Sandwell Steelers are going to deny them 2 points, 1 point. Nope, you're not going to get anything on the extra point. So a bit of a momentum shift there as number 43, Andrew Stackhouse, recovers that muffed extra point. It was a fake. It was a fake on the extra point, and they didn't get it.
We haven't seen that quarterback read option very much from the Falcons. They always set it up, but they very, very rarely run it. But if you've got a quarterback willing to put his body on the line like that, and there's a big pickup as well, why not use it?
We've seen Brammer scramble around, haven't we, in the quarterback backfield. We've not actually seen him run, I'm not sure, for a touchdown, certainly in the games I've covered. So it's something new for the playoffs that Leicester have done, using Brammer's ability to run. We've got number 2 back to return this one, so that's James Schofield. And I think that's number 18 in the backfield, Joshua Puckering for the Lancashire Wolverines, both back to return this one. Obviously couldn't make many yards, only 4 yards in their first series. Let's see what they can do here. There's a deep kick again, but this one will be taken by Schofield, who goes to his right-hand side. He's looking for some room up the sideline, but he's met by a host of Falcons there at about the 25-yard line, maybe to the 26, which is where the Lancashire Wolverines will take over.
Yeah, not a bad return, but we'll see what their offense can do here.
We haven't seen Schofield yet, other than on that kick return. Maybe they'll try and get him into the offense. He is their talisman through the air. They like to throw to him. Good speed, and we saw him scoring some points against the last game they played against those Vikings. Shotgun here with Halliwell in motion, but they go with the pass, and that is complete.
Nice pickup that time.
Yeah, a nice short pickup, taking what the defense give them rather, and they're going to go hurry up on this to try and catch those Leicester Falcons without a play call on defense. Second and short. Mead this time keeping it himself, tries to get up the middle, but met and dropped at the line of scrimmage by that tough interior defensive line of the Falcons.
Yeah, absolutely nowhere to go, and really, really good interior defense by those Falcons not to let him run up that crease.
So 6-0 Falcons. They're staying in the hurry up for this 3rd and 3 play. Trips to the bottom of your screen. Mead is going to go to the air. It's a short pass. It looks like a jailbreak screen. That looked like a face mask, and the flag has come in. And if that is a face mask, that will be first down to the Leicester Falcons. The play itself didn't go anywhere. The Leicester Falcons rallied to it quickly. But it looks like that face mask might give them the first down.
Certainly a hand went to the mask, and it came from the official at the back, actually, rather than the sideline official, who would have had the best view. But I would like to think that that is the call.
That play out there was to Chris Astley, just trying to get him free for those 3 yards on the quick screen. Let's hear from our referee today.
Yeah, Falcons marching towards their own end zone, so it's...
Personal foul. Defense, number 41. Just in the face mask. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
So Ian Wainwright, our official today, along with umpire Mark Ward, and they're joined by Jason Mead, Mark Wilson and Ian Davis. That makes up your Bafra crew.
We haven't currently got a name for Leicester's 41. It does have Kersey on the back of his jersey, but I don't think it is.
Shotgun snap then on this first down after the penalty, and it's Halliwell again trying to get some yards, and these Leicester Falcons denying him any joy again up the middle there. Tough running for Halliwell so far.
Do we call him Kersey 2.0, or I mean, I'm assuming he's not a Kersey. I'm not aware of a
we've got
Kersey Junior that is of that size and build and is of male orientation. I'm sure he's got a young daughter, but
we've got number 41 on the field. We've got the mascot has got number 41 shirt
41
on. Anyway, it's 2nd and 9, and Mead going to the air again, and this one is complete. It's a nice pass. Mead does have a nice arm on him, doesn't he? Seeing it live here, don't know whether you can pick that up. I'm sure you can from the screen, but he's got a good arm, able to bullet that one into Jonathan Lee.
Yeah, nice read as well, as it brings up around about 3rd and 3.
So 3rd and 3 now to keep this drive alive, and they hand off this time to Halliwell, who does knife his way through. Finally, gets some light, some daylight, and gets that first down. So Lancashire driving. This is the sort of game you wanted to see, George.
Very much so, and he runs very hard and very low, and that makes it very difficult for a defensive player to stop. He's at full pace the moment he crosses that line of scrummage, and that's exactly what you want from your running back.
So Lancashire threatening now that Leicester Falcons goal line. They're on the 25-yard line. Again, 1st and 10, shotgun snap. Mead hands off to Halliwell. Initially, I thought he had some room to the right-hand side, but he cuts it back in. And that Leicester Falcons defender drives that play back inside.
Not quite sure what he saw there. It looked like he had space on the outside. But
2nd and 8. Mead again, quick with his hurry-up offense. He's looking to go to the air, and he does go deep to number 2 receiver Jonathan Lee, who makes an excellent catch. That looks like a touchdown, and they've given it. Fantastic athletic display from James Schofield.
Wow.
And that has stunned the Leicester Falcons stadium here.
That's kind of stunned me as well. What a great play. Great coverage from the defensive back. It actually bobbles, I think, before he brings it in. But
well, we knew that Lancashire could score points, but that was a hell of a play. That's the sort of play we've seen Leicester make time and time again. We've got a game, George, 6-all.
Very much so. Oh, flag on the play.
So it looks like
one too many players by the looks of it.
On the extra point, 12 men on the field on the kicking team. 5-yard penalty. Repeat the try.
Ian Wainwright confirming your call there, George.
Well, I don't want to play the game that you and Matt usually play, as this is going to be a close game. I don't need a whitewash in that one too, where I beat you into a pulp.
Oh, thanks, George, for the vote of confidence. Let's see if they can get this extra point from further out. So this is Dino Vanaza with the kick. Snap is good, hold is good, kick is good. So the Lancashire Wolverines have taken an early lead in this one. The muffed fake extra point attempt that Leicester tried. Lancashire obviously failed, and Lancashire just go for the extra point, and they've taken the lead.
Yeah, I don't know whether to be surprised or not, but like we said earlier, there's not a lot of inter-conference games going on to compare, really. So, as you say, we've got a game, and it could be a really, really exciting one. Back and forth. So,
well, we're just at early days in the first quarter, and we've already got 2 scores on the board. So if you like offensive football, stay with us. You can tweet us. You can let us know what you're thinking. Are you supporting Lancashire today? Are you supporting Leicester? You can tweet us #LEI versus LAN, and we'll read some of those out as we progress through this excellent playoff battle so far.
There hasn't been many times this year where the Falcons have found themselves down, albeit by a point, but a point is a point.
So Vanaza looking to kick this one deep with 2 danger men back there for the Leicester Falcons, and this one will be picked up, I believe, by Kieran Watts. Actually, he's 23, who goes through the middle, and he's knifing through, still on his feet, gets all the way up to the 37-yard line, and that is number 23,
Darwin, that not called his name very often this year. Another unorthodox runner that really carves his way through there.
doing a good job on special teams. Special teams made such a difference when we watched the game, Sandwell versus Leicester. Both those teams really good on their special teams, and Leicester practice those returns a lot. They do make a lot of yards on those returns.
Very much so. One thing to note is that Leicester's penalty count throughout the year has been exceptionally high, and against quality teams that could be the doing of them. So we'll see if they've worked on their discipline this year as well, or for this game, should I say.
Yeah, we've had the face mask call so far. This time Lancashire brings 6. It's an end around to number 81, who I believe is Thomas Singleton Wells, who ex-University of Derby player. They do rely heavily, Leicester Falcons, on some of these University of Derby players, but that's a good jet sweep for a gain of 5, and that brings up second down.
Well, it's no bad thing being linked to a university. There's a number of teams around the country that are, and often it brings the level of football up for those clubs that are involved with them.
So Leicester, no delay for them. They're up to the line of scrimmage on this 2nd and 5 with that familiar formation now. 2 of those big running backs, and this one's given off to Gums up the middle, who trundles his way all the way for a first down and another gain of 8. And the early battle between that offensive line of the Leicester Falcons and this front 7 of this Lancashire Wolverines is being won by those Falcons, isn't it?
Well, you say that, but on the previous drive, we had one Lancashire Wolverine flying through and ravaged the running back in the backfield.
Maybe the key is that blitzing to hit those holes hard. 2 receivers to the top of your screen now. Brammer lining up for this first down. This time they do come on the blitz. This one's complete. Again, it's a replay of the first catch to Priest, and he takes that one all the way down, but there is a flag down on the field.
Again, it does look like Priest has got the beating of his defensive back. That's the second time he's run that route, and the second time he's picked up a grab.
Yeah, he went deep, didn't he, on that first play that wasn't completed. I don't know whether the defensive back now is trying to honour that, and he's running these little hook patterns, isn't he? Just coming back to the ball.
Over, dead ball, personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Number 12 of the defence, half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
Looks like that's going to be on Jonathan Frayne, and that's not going to be the discipline that they want, and that's unnecessary as well. It's not a holding call. It's not even in live action, and in playoff football you can't afford to have that happen.
Yeah, the coaching staff for Lancashire will be disappointed with that one, and that's going to march the Leicester Falcons all the way to the 12-yard line, where they'll be first. They can make a first down without a touchdown. But ominous now for the Lancashire defence. They're going to need to step up as they hand off. I believe that's Ogundana, number 15, coming up to try and make the play, but Ogundana dances out of it, spinning for a gain of 4 yards. So it looked like the linebacker, Lewis Norton, was going to pull him down as he did on the previous play.
Not sure whether we got a highlight of that, but that's some quality ballerina work there. 3 spins in a row. I don't even think you see some of that in some of the Russian
dancing.
Russian dancing. I was trying to go something Russian, and then I thought it might be a mistake with current climates.
Yeah. Ogundana ran for 280 yards last week.
That is absolutely incredible.
Here we go again then, 2nd and 7. They can get a first down without a touchdown. They give it to Ogundana again, who again, quick feet, tries to get away from the edge. Lancashire do rally to it though, and that's nice defence, just slowing him up enough. And you've got to get Ogundana's feet, haven't you? There's no point trying to tackle him.
Very much so, and I think at this point he stands a very strong chance of making it into one of the Russian dance troupes.
3rd and 4 then for these Leicester Falcons, who are trying to get the lead after Lancashire stunned us all with that great reception to Schofield. So it's 7-6 if you're just joining us. Lancashire Wolverines offence doing the business on their last drive, but these Leicester Falcons no slouch themselves.
I think that's the longest huddle I've ever seen the Falcons take this year, so clearly some concerns about what this defence can do.
Gabardon to the top of your screen along with Kieran Watts. Let's see if this is a handoff or a pass. It is Brammer back to pass. He is going to look to his right. He goes to Priest again, and that's a nice defensive play by number 3 Dino Vanaza, who's also the kicker for today, and he is executing his job to perfection there.
Yeah, so I make that 2-2 between Vanaza and Priest, although Priest really slips up on the first one.
Interesting, isn't it, that they've not gone to Gabadon. They didn't go to Kieran Watts on that one, but it's 4th down. Brammer still on the field, so they're clearly not going to kick this unless they're trying to draw those Lancashire Wolverines offside and then go for a kick. They can get the first down.
I think they're confident enough to try and run this in, but we'll see what they do.
So Brammer back, shotgun snap, hands off to Gums up the middle, and Gums making his way, and he's close. And I think they will have the touchdown's been signalled to this near side on the Leicester Falcons. Erupt, Screech the mascot goes crazy, and the Leicester Falcons have taken the lead.
Just going to say I called that run play.
George, you did.
I did.
You did a great job. You said they're going to run it in, and so they did. Gums with the touchdown, straight up the middle. Let's have a look again. Francis with a critical block there, and they try and get Gums down. They do hit him low, but he obviously manages to squirt forward and reach for that end zone.
Yeah, big hole again for Gums, and Francis Lee blocking, as you say, there.
So the Leicester Falcons doing
2.
what they've done a number of times, which is to go for 2 points here. They faked it last time. Brammer this time under centre. Watch for that quarterback sneak, maybe. No, he is going to drop back and pass. There's a blitz on. He's got men in his face, and Brammer still managing to keep this play alive. Great block there, but a flag has come in, and Brammer scrambles in for the touchdown, for the 2 points rather. I think this one's coming back. There was a block that went in. A Sandwell player went straight down to the ground, and they've called a flag on that, and I think that's going to be a personal foul.
That was. We'll see if we can catch it on this replay, but
you can see Brammer keeping this play alive. Scrambles to his right. Gums says, "Where do you want me?"
Boom!
There's the block, and he's just blindsided number 51. Used to be a clean hit, that, didn't it? But nowadays you can't.
It's a bit grey, but I don't think it was totally illegal, to be fair, but we'll see what he calls.
The refs are talking about it. It's inches, isn't it? Because if that player, it's either a hit in the back, or if that player's like a few more inches in front of him, it's a legal hit.
It'd be interesting to see it on the replay again after this call, but
referee talking to number 77, Johnny Stafrida, about this play. Clearly,
during the extra point, we have illegal block by number 77 of the PAT team. It'll be a 10-yard penalty, and repeat the try.
All right, so it's a 10-yard penalty, so not the more serious one. Illegal block rather than a personal foul. Interesting one there, George.
The fact that they were talking about it, I think, is a close call. But I would hazard a guess it was actually a close call as to whether it was legal or illegal. Because if he'd been a few inches in front as the blocking man, it would have been a clean hit. So.
All right, well, it brings up the extra point attempt again. They're going to go for 2 from this distance, and Brammer lofts it to Priest. There's 3 defenders around Priest. He wants a flag for pass interference, but it was clean.
Yeah, I think to be fair to the defensive backs, there was no real hands in the face, nothing to suggest that it was interference.
So what's the strategy here, throwing to Priest? I mean, Priest is having success, but you got Gabadon, you got Kieran Watts. Are they just trying to decoy Priest early on in the game and go back to those big receivers later?
Perhaps, and you see actually here, Watts opens up, and it would have been a one-on-one isolation play with the linebacker over the top, but they do seem to be targeting Priest.
All right, while our cameraman finds the action, we
should stress that we have a new style camera that Sean, the cameraman's, getting used to. You might get a few wobbly bits, I think, throughout the game, but he hasn't been drinking. I can assure you of that. He doesn't drink.
Oh, very good. Of course he doesn't drink. Yeah, I knew that, George. We've got James on the cameras as well. We've got Tom and Steve giving production today. This team at Onside Productions. Very welcome to have you with us. This one's going to be taken at the 10-yard line, picked up, looking for some room up the middle. Now he scampers over to his right-hand side, but again, the special teams of the Falcons really do well.
Gabadon that made the final hit there.
They are fast, these Falcons, aren't they? And they're not superstars. I mean, you've got people like Ogundana will run down the field. People like Gabadon will run and make plays on special teams.
Yeah, but I think they make the strategy, or the strategy, should I say, that they use very much caters for the players that they've got. It's not an extensive offensive playbook. In fact, I would say it's fairly simple. But sometimes simplicity is bliss, and it works well for him.
So last year, Lancashire were able to answer back. Can they do it here as Meads drops back on first down? He has tipped in the air and picked, and it's that man. Welcome to the game, Taylor Brown.
He was just toying with his food there as he batted it up before picking it off.
7 interceptions during the season, 2 of those returned for touchdowns, and Taylor Brown makes his mark early in this competition by shutting down Lancashire's chance to come back. Having a look at this now.
Look at the hops as well, and the awareness to turn and grab that ball. That's exactly what you want from a safety.
I can't see any problems with that hamstring, George.
No.
He looks fully fit, and when he's fully fit, he makes spectacular plays like that. So, the Leicester Falcons just in their own territory on their 44-yard line. Again, 90-yard field, so they're very close to Lancashire territory. Lancashire threatening blitz here from the linebacker, who does come. Brammer back, plenty of time, works to his right. That one's going to be incomplete. Looking for Gabadon on the right-hand side.
Gabadon versus Vinaza there.
Yeah, Vinaza played well so far. This time one-on-one on Gabadon, and Gabadon can't go up to get that ball. So that's going to bring up 2nd and 10 on the incomplete pass, and we really need Lancashire to step up here, don't we, and stop this. For those of you that are, neutrals and looking for a good game, we wouldn't want either team to kind of run away with it this early. We still have a close one.
No, but I'm sure those Falcons will be licking their lips at the chance.
This one is to Marcus Francis, who looks to his left-hand side. There's a big hole on the left. He's still on his feet. He's all the way to the 20, to the 10. He's tough to bring down, but finally they managed to get him out at the 9-yard line. So Marcus Francis with a great stride, great power, and he's so hard to bring down, Francis, once you get him in the open field.
Yeah, quality running, and a play that we've seen so many times throughout the season for them. And this defence, I'm sure, will know their playbook inside and out. But, as I say, put a simple playbook in there, teach them good technique, and there you go.
Just watching that Taylor Brown interception again that set up that long run from Francis. These Falcons so dangerous, both sides of the ball. Now at the 10-yard line, they can't get a first down here, so it is 1st and goal from the 10. As Brammer lines up, this time 4 receivers out, just Ogundana next to Brammer. Takes the snap, looking to his left, nothing there, goes back to his right now, scrambling right, under pressure, comes back, looks over the middle, and Alex Priest incomplete, good defence. Good defending all the way around the field there by these DBs of Lancashire Wolverines. That's what they have to do.
Yeah, very much so. There wasn't actually as much pressure on Brammer as Brammer seemed to make out with his running around the field, and I'd argue he'd have just been better to step up, but he likes the dramatics, I think.
He does. He likes to run around in the backfield, and he does move his feet a lot, looking for space. So again, 4 receivers set. Brammer went to the air last time. Let's see, he's got Ogundana to his left-hand side. This time he does hand off to Ogundana, who avoids the first man in the backfield, but that's great defending from the Lancashire Wolverines, slowing him up in the backfield, and number 43 bringing him to the ground.
Yeah, it looked like Andrew Stackhouse was the man with the tackle. And it brings up 3rd and goal.
So some good defending as this field gets smaller and smaller for this offense as they get towards that end zone. It's still 3rd and goal. They're going to be from about the 8-yard line now, so they need 8 yards to score. And what do you see here, George? Are 4 receivers set again, or you think they're going to try and hand it off to those big running backs?
You're 9 yards out. I think they'll look to pass on this occasion.
4 receivers out again, and Kieran Watts to the top of your screen along with Gabadon. Then you've got Priest to the bottom. He looks towards Kieran Watts with the easy touchdown.
There's a flag in the backfield, so I suspect they're going to call him for holding. But
Kieran Watts with that big body is able just to get separation from the receiver, and in the end it was easy for Brammer. But let's see what the penalty is.
It's always easy when your offensive lineman's holding for you, though.
Very true.
Let's see what the call is. But it was a great grab, as you say, by Watts, going up in the air and bringing it in very, very smooth.
So let's hear what Ian Wainwright, our referee today, has to say about this one.
Personal foul, offence, chop block. Number 66 and number 61, both engaged high and low. 15-yard penalty, repeat third down.
There you go.
There you go, chop block.
They'd have been better off with a hold.
Yeah, it's a 15-yarder. That's a big one. That takes them all the way back to the 24-yard line.
I don't think they're phased. We've seen them take a third and, what was it, 59
yeah, I remember sitting
or
in the
something.
stands for a third and 51 or whatever it was.
Something daft. So
scored for a touchdown.
I'll not be overly concerned.
Yeah, they certainly can score from anywhere on the field. It's Priest to the bottom of your screen now.
This is
3 receivers to the top. Trips
formation.
to the top.
New formation. Not seen trips from them very often.
Let's see what Brammer will do here. He looks initially to Priest, who's on his own, and he does go in that direction. Priest can't pull it in. Good defending there. Nice position from Vanaza, who we've called a number of times today. He seems to be the guy that they're trying to pick on there.
Yeah, very much so. And that time it was borderline PI. He didn't turn his head to look for the ball, but he's got away with it. Great coverage nonetheless.
Yeah, it was nice coverage. Certainly good position. It's so difficult for that. It's one of the most difficult things to do with defensive back, and the ball's coming in. Do you look at the receiver? Do you look at the ball? That time Vanaza played it right. No flag, as you say, George.
I think sometimes the best coverage does look like pass interference, though.
Absolutely. So Gums lining up this time behind Brammer. It's now 4th and goal. It's 24. So it's 4th and 24. They have to get to the end zone.
Looking for Watts in the back corner.
Here we go. It's Brammer. He is looking Watts his way. It's a stop and go. Watts is in the end zone. Brammer under some pressure. He throws it short, and this one is complete. Nice defending there from the Lancashire Wolverines as number 17. Although he's caught the ball, Tom Jarrett, he can't. They will turn over on downs because they had to get into the end zone. The Wolverines doing what they need to do in the end zone there to avoid the touchdown.
Very much so, and he was looking for Kyron Watts in that back corner.
So a good bit of coaching there on 4th down and good situational awareness to put those defensive backs in that end zone and prevent the Leicester Falcons that, you can have something short, but we're not going to let you into our end zone, and that's exactly the way that needed to be played.
Great,
and Lancashire get the ball back.
As you say, great coverage all round, and that's what the defence needs to do throughout this game to keep it close.
So here's Meads then on 1st down. He hands off to Halliwell up the middle, and that's going to be a gain of about 5. So their 3rd series now. Having thrown an interception to that man Taylor Brown last time, they're going to want to get something going on offence. But they've denied the Leicester Falcons that score. And here we go, Mead again on 2nd down in that hurry-up offence. They try that screen again to number 19, and that's snuffed out quickly by these Leicester Falcons. That's Chris Astley they're going to on that screen. That's the 2nd time they've tried that. Both times it's been snuffed out.
And that looks like it might be the end of the quarter.
So an exciting first quarter here at Leicester Road Football Club. We have 3 scores on the board. We thought it would be a high-scoring game, and that looks like what we've got. You can get involved with the show. Let us know what you'll think about the first quarter. Hashtag LEI versus LAN. We know you're watching out there from all over the country, interested in this playoff football, this Division 1 battle between these two good teams. And it looks like we have a good game on our hand from the first quarter.
Yeah, and I think the Falcons, much like myself, in fairness, were thinking they probably walked this one. But so far, the Wolverines doing what they need to do to keep in this game.
Yeah, we've said it a number of times. It's really difficult to gauge the levels of the teams interconference-wise because they don't play each other during the regular season. And Lancashire have come here to compete and are doing very well so far. So it's 12-7. No extra points
We're on
yet.
camera. We're not very often on camera during
We're up here in the booth. Don't know whether you can see us there. Thank you, Sean. I'm glad we got dressed up. And it's a handoff this time to Halliwell, who's stuffed for no gain on that 3rd and 4 attempt. That's going to bring up a 4th down.
Bit of a surprise that they elected to run for it that time.
Yeah, Meads has had some success through the air. You would have expected him to go to the air. So early in this second quarter, the Lancashire Wolverines looking to line up and see whether they can go for it.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they know what down it is.
They are going to snap, but it's a short, it's a pooch kind of kick from the quarterback, and that's taken a great roll for the Lancashire Wolverines.
What a beauty.
Oh, and out of bounds, so no chance on the return. Fantastic from David Meads. Lines up as if he's going to take it, draws Taylor Brown up, and then hoofs it down the field.
Not seen that one for a while. I think the last time I saw a play like that was Caesar's junior Tom Henley, as he punted it from shotgun formation.
There you go. Maybe they've been watching that video. You never know.
Everybody does.
So that means that Leicester Falcons to start their first drive as the sun does shine from behind those clouds on this Leicester Falcons football stadium. We are going to start the Leicester Falcons from their own 15, where the ball went out of bounds. And Lancashire defence will be keen to get this team off the field and get the ball back to their offence as soon as possible to keep this game tight. So Gums and Francis either side, that familiar formation now for the Leicester Falcons. Two receivers to the top of the screen, Kieran Watts to the bottom as they hand off to I think this is Patterson, who is absolutely swarmed. So they bring men, line up 8 men in the box, do Lancashire, and they bring pressure on the run blitz, and they stuff that one for a loss of 5. Great defensive play there.
I wasn't aware the Wolverines hunted in packs, but absolutely wonderful hunting there, and bring him down for a loss of, well, I think they've marked him down as a loss of 5.
So they're going to Ashley Patterson. They do have this stable of running backs to Leicester Falcons that they can rotate in. If there's Francis, there's Gums, there's Patterson, there's Ogundana. So they do have a lot of weapons. So second and long for these Leicester Falcons. Same formation, Gums and Ogundana this time in the backfield with Gabadon and Watts to the bottom of your screen. This time they give to Ogundana again, initial pressure, and he has to dance out of it. Can they get the contain on that right-hand side? Ogundana continues to make yards, and in the end, it's a good pickup for about 9 yards.
It was a long way to try and run that one, but he really turned that pace on and turned the turbos on and got around the edge to pick it up. I'm going to mark him about 3rd and 5 to go.
They're getting good pressure, aren't they, the Lancashire Wolverines, from bringing those. They run a 3-man defensive line, but then they bring additional pressure. They bring linebackers, and they're finding some holes in this Leicester Falcons offensive line and just making it difficult for these runners to find space. 3rd and 6 now. Having come from 2nd and 15, this one's going to be a handoff. Oh no, Brammer again keeps it, but he gets met hard at the line of scrimmage. And is the ball out? Lancashire are waving that they have the football. No signal as yet.
Lancashire may be waving, but I think the whistle was blown long before the ball came out.
So Brammer keeping it himself that time, but maybe one down too many, because he did take a shot, didn't he, at that line of scrimmage?
Yeah, it was a monster hit. If you get the chance to hit a quarterback in the open field, you better make it count.
So the Lancashire Wolverines wise now to Brammer's running, faking the handoff to Ogundana,
this
and
is
then keeping it himself.
An interesting punt formation.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got Taylor Brown line up in a kind of punt, but then they've got this spread of players across the line of scrimmage, and it is going to be a kick. So Taylor Brown with a short, very high kick. Lancashire are just going to get away from this one, and it's going to take a roll and come to rest at the 40-yard line of the Leicester Falcons. So not hugely effective on the punt, and it's going to give the Wolverines good field position.
I'm not quite sure why he stuck him back there to try and punt. It wasn't an awful punt, but if we found one fault or one weakness of Taylor Brown, it's that his punting leg isn't that strong.
Yeah. I'm sure he's going to lose sleep over that one there, George. Well, if they're going to line him up there, he's got to make the play, hasn't he, I guess. You can get involved with us by tweeting. We'll be checking your tweets throughout the game today. Hopefully you're enjoying the coverage here from Leicester Road Football Club as we bring you this great match so far between the Lancashire Wolverines and the Leicester Falcons. Lancashire Wolverines with their second possession of this second quarter. 2 running backs in the backfield this time, and they do hand it off to Halliwell. who does make good yards. That formation making a difference as he barrels his way for 7 yards on first down.
It's very direct running. They're not trying to get round the edge like the Falcons have done, but it seems to be working for them so far.
So 2nd and 3 as Lancashire stay with this hurry up. They have a big fullback in behind the guard, and they are handing off on exactly the same play. Halliwell now looking to make his mark on this game. He's met by a whole host of defenders there, led by number 91 of the Leicester Falcons, Luke Geary.
Just made the first down by a matter of inches there.
So nice running from Halliwell behind this big fullback, number 41, who is Adam Liversidge for the Lancashire Wolverines, doing a good job so far on this series. Again, same play, left-hand side, big hole. And again, good running there from the running back, John Halliwell.
Taylor Brown was the man that wrapped him up, but as you say, a very, very big hole opened up to the left-hand side.
And George, if Taylor Brown's making tackles for you, then you know something's a problem, because those linebackers really need to rally to the ball. Let's see if Freud from the
shouldn't be stepping over defensive linemen to make the tackle, that's for sure.
Absolutely. This one goes out to Schofield, their receiver, with dancing quick feet on that left-hand side from the screen. He's finally brought to a halt, but he picks up yards. So Lancashire driving hard. Referee's looking to see whether this will be a first down.
I think they're going to mark him short by a matter of inches.
So it's Halliwell, it's Schofield. They're getting the ball to those players that really count on this Lancashire Wolverines offense, and they're driving down the field. 3rd and short.
This will be a run, I suspect.
Shotgun snap.
That's going to be an offside call.
Halliwell with the football, flag down. Halliwell looks like he'll be short, but the flag, if it is an offside penalty on Leicester, will give them the first down.
I think it's likely to be an offside call. We'll just see it there. So as you say, good defence to bring him up short. So.
Yeah,
offside on the defence, number 44, 5-yard penalty, which will result in a first down.
So this drive stays alive with the Lancashire Wolverines again on a 3rd down critical play. They have a penalty that gives them that first down. Now at the 15, Mead, shotgun snap. Again, Halliwell, right-hand side this time, looking for the edge. Taylor Brown. Taylor Brown snuffs that one out at the line of scrimmage. Again, Taylor Brown roaming all over the field and needing to come up as Halliwell tried to find that edge to the right-hand side.
The first Falcon that came in was Bill Hefford, number 5. Well, I think you're a defensive coordinator yourself. If you saw a player tackling like that, I think you'd go off on one. You've got to use those arms as well as those shoulders to make that hit.
Absolutely right, George. Schofield in motion. They do hand to Schofield along the right-hand side on a jet sweep, and number 44 just pushes him out of bounds. Couldn't find the edge on that one. Running to the short side of the field side. So not a huge amount of space there for Schofield to find that edge.
Yeah, it makes it difficult if you are running to that short side. It's going to be about 3rd and 7. Can always understand passing to out routes on field side. It makes for a shorter pass for the quarterback, but running a sweep across there is a bit of a mistake, I would think.
This time Ashworth is in the backfield. No Halliwell, but they do hand it off to Ashworth, who goes to his left-hand side this time. And again, Taylor Brown coming up, muffs the tackle, but these Leicester Falcons do rally, still on his feet, and that looks like it's going to go for a first down. So they bring Ashworth in, and the result's the same, first down. And this Lancashire Wolverines offence, this offence is for real.
Yeah, but this is what Coach Kassar was wanting before the game. Perhaps he won't be wanting it so much if they go 14-12 here.
So, can the Lancashire Wolverines get into the end zone here? It's a timeout for the Leicester Falcons. And so
timeout.
Gives us a good opportunity
Leicester.
to tell
Leicester's
you about
first
some of the
charge
sponsors
timeout of the half.
here for the Leicester Falcons. EHL Commercial Law, who get the deal done. They're offering their support this season to Leicester Falcons, along with a host of others as well. Walkabouts, open 7 days a week, serving up delicious food in Nottingham. Carrington Arms, idyllic setting of a traditional country pub. plucked. If you want plucked wings in town, then they're the people to go to.
The best plucking chickens in town, I think, is their catchphrase, or was.
And DCI Artform, creating insight-driven retail solutions that build authentic connections between shoppers. Some of your sponsors today of the Leicester Falcons Football Club. Good setup here, George, isn't it? Cheerleaders, good stadium.
I feel for the man in the bird suit, though, or woman, if it's a woman. I went to the we were at the youth finals, and the Eton Jaguars had a young woman in a Jaguars costume. It was very, very hot, and I really did feel for him.
Yeah, it's a good mascot though. It's a good uniform. I think we found out what the name of the mascot is as well. It's Screech. So I'm sure we'll see more of Screech as the game progresses. As we get back to the football action on the field, it's first down for the Lancashire Wolverines as they look to draw level in this competition with Mead in shotgun. Again, Halliwell to his left-hand side. Falcons threatening blitz, but they don't come, they drop off. Mead keeps it but drops the ball, and it looks like the Falcons are trying to scramble for it, but it looks like Mead may have covered it up himself.
Yeah, I think he may well have got it on the second bounce.
No, it's the Falcons scrambling in that pile to pull the ball away from Meads, and a critical mistake from David Meads, who is their go-to quarterback. He was just running to his left and just seemed to drop the ball.
Yeah, and that is not what he'll have wanted right there. Whether he just caught it on the handoff and lost control slightly, couldn't regather it.
So a rare mistake from Meads hands the Falcons a gift as they just able to dive on that ball and wrestle it free from the pile, and it goes straight back to them. They still retain that 6-point lead that you can see on the screens now. And again, they're asking a lot of their defenders now. The Lancashire Wolverines come back on the field, hopefully rested, because it was a decent drive, some yards gained. They'll be rested as they come back onto the field to take on this Falcons offense again.
Be interesting to see what the Falcons come out with having less running success on the previous drive.
So again, they do have a lot of men at that line of scrimmage, but France is fighting his way through, and he does break through. He's down the sideline, he's at the 40-yard line, he's now at the 40, they're trying to chase him down, but no one will get Marcus Francis all the way for the touchdown, and they punish that mistake from David Mead with a touchdown on the very next play.
Well, got a touchdown, but not quite sure if that yellow marker down there is a flag or not, or whether it's just...
Can't see that one, George, but you can see that just before he breaks away, Marcus showing some great speed. I mean, he's a big guy, almost defensive end kind of.
Hang on, the official
During the return, the runner stepped out of bounds at the 25-yard line. Leicester's ball, first down.
Well, you called it, George. Good call. So they are bringing that one back to the 25. It looks like the chasing Lewis Norton managed to get enough of Francis just to edge him out of bounds. So Leicester with a first down at the 25. This time they hand off to Gums, who looks for space up the middle.
Well,
but they shut that door quickly.
So we saw this previously. Wolverines getting backed up to their own end zone, really tightening up on defence and doing a good job there.
So Gums with only 2 yards. Francis will be gutted. He stepped out of bounds there, won't he?
Very
85 yards in the quarterfinals and just tiptoed out of bounds. Enough interference run by that linebacker to deny him the touchdown. So that brings up 2nd and 7 for these Leicester Falcons. Gabardon and Watts nearest to your screen, but they hand off to Ogundana this time, who has a big hole, and he's going to go untouched into the end zone. The Leicester Falcons say, well, you got us the first time, but not the second time. Ogundana delivering the goods.
That bulldog face mask.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to see him running towards you. It was a beautiful step as well. I'm not quite sure if we can catch it on the highlight, but it's a beautiful step to take the only man that was even close to touching him before running it the rest of the way in.
Yeah, he's a beautiful two-cut runner, Ogundana, isn't he? He cuts left, cuts right, and then he's off to the races.
This is
and
what we were,
untouched.
Yeah, this is what we were saying before the game. They've got 4 or 5 running backs, but all of them that run with a very, very different running style.
Absolutely. As Jarrett lines up for this point after attempt, it's a bad snap. Holder picks it up, but he's met quickly. And again, the Leicester Falcons having trouble with these point afters. Haven't been able to convert 2 points, 1 point. Can't get a kickoff. Difficult for them on these extra points, but they still have an 18-7 lead. So they still have the edge after scoring 3 times into the end zone in this early game. So that turnover from David Mead, costly for these Lancashire Wolverines as we look at this run again.
This is an absolutely beautiful play here. You just see that step there, and up he goes.
Yeah, he's got speed to just turn the burners on, hasn't he, when he sees that hole open up, and just switches it on and goes. So Leicester Falcons getting ready to kick off for the 4th time in this game. Lancashire now needing something to end this half on a high. They really need to get that offense moving. They have had success, but were not able to punch it in last time, despite driving all the way down to the 9-yard line of the Leicester Falcons. This is a low drive kick, which Schofield will take on the bounce and look to his left-hand side. But again, the special teams play is good, and he will only get to his own 29-yard line.
Yeah, great containment. They have done all season, bar one slip-up against the Sandwell Steelers. And if you can get the special teams working right, stands both your offense and defense in good stead for the rest of the game.
So it's been a great game so far. Leicester Falcons with that 18-7 lead, but Lancashire have threatened. The scoreline probably flatters Leicester a little bit because Lancashire have been close to that end zone. But let's see what they can do as we come closer, work our way through this second half. This time Mead is going to keep it himself, fakes the end around and picks up about 5 yards. So Mead, that dual threat weapon, running, passing, faking the handoff and picking up some yards early on first down.
Like it was Falcons 16, that's Femi with the tackle. A name we've called several times throughout the year. Very talented linebacker.
Yeah, and their leading tackler, I believe, looking at the statistics that we have up here in the booth. Again, shotgun 2nd and 5 for Meads. This time he gives to Halliwell, who puts his head down and tries to pick up as much as he can and does end up squirting through that line of scrimmage for 3 yards.
James Beckett making the piggyback style tackle there to bring him down.
Halliwell's good at getting up to speed quickly, isn't he? One of those running backs, you hand it off and he's up to full speed.
Acceleration is absolutely fantastic, and he's not a small runner by any means.
No, he's not, absolutely, George. 3rd and 2, Halliwell in motion this time. Mead fakes the pass to him and then goes to his left-hand side where he's got a lot of room, and it's number 5 for the Leicester Falcons, Bill Hefford, who chases him out of bounds. But that's going to be a first down.
Yeah, that was a really nice play, just turning the whole defence's eyes towards the right-hand side of the field and taking it right round. The official having words, perhaps, with Gums there. Possible late hit, maybe. Or borderline late hit, should I say.
Yeah, no flag down, so this will count. They're right at midfield now. They're staying with this hurry-up offense. When you have that dual threat, really, David Meads, it's such a great weapon, isn't it, to have? So difficult to defend. This time they do give on the jet sweep, and number 8 will try and make his way through the middle of that Leicester Falcons line, but no joy there, just a pickup of 1. It's Jonathan Lee on the end around. So some misdirection.
I'm not quite sure if you hear that over our booth, but it's half-time in Newcastle at the moment, where the Sandwell Steelers playing the Northumberland Vikings. And at half-time, it's tied up 21-all.
Wow, so these two divisions looking tight as we look at this second down play, and that one is complete. It will be short of the first down as the Leicester Falcons rally to that one.
And that was a great grab with so much coverage on him. It looked like he had 1, 2, 3 men around him as he brought that ball in.
Yeah, nice reception from Jonathan Lee there. So they're bringing him into the game now, as well as Halliwell, as well as Schofield. They have some weapons on this offence. Brings up a 3rd and 4 as we look at the replay. Great drills that ball in there. Confident quarterback, isn't he, Meads?
Yeah, very much so.
And that's a nice pickup, makes it a nice manageable 3rd down as this drive continues. Lancashire continuing to move the ball. This time handoff to Halliwell, again met early by this Leicester Falcons defence.
It looked like it was Femi, the man again, that wrapped it up.
And Jamal Fredericks, that big man on that defensive line as well.
He is a big man there, look.
So 4th down, a critical play here for Lancashire to keep this drive alive after Fredericks makes the stop. This time they go to Halliwell on the screen. Leicester in pursuit. Halliwell puts his head down and he's very close.
I think they're going to
we'll
call
see
it
how the
short,
referees. There is a flag on the field as well. Sorry, George.
No.
So we'll see what the flag is. Halliwell very close to the 1st down on that screen pass. And it looks like from the clapping and the cheering going on the Leicester Falcons sideline that it's going to go against Lancashire. Let's see what the ref says.
Personal foul, offence, chop block. The penalty is declined. Result of the play, turnover of ball, back to Leicester.
So on a big 4th down play, a personal foul comes in. And again, Lancashire Wolverines, despite the fact that they're driving the ball, first they had the fumble, now the personal foul penalty, and the ball goes back to Leicester. It's not going their way.
No, if they're not careful, they'll lose this on a downhill turn. And if the Falcons score here, it's going to be very, very difficult to gain momentum back again in their favour.
So we're coming close to the second half now as Brammer lines up for this 1st down following the turnover on downs and the penalty. Gums is met hard in the backfield by number 12, Jonathan Frayne, knifing in off the edge.
Yeah, that was a wonderful tackle by Frayne as well. A much bigger man running towards him, and you can see him there on the camera. Slender player, but what a wonderful tackle. Put his body on the line for his team, and I don't actually think they've given him anything on the pickup.
Absolutely. Gums, not an easy man to pull down, but Frayne doing a great job there on the edge. These linebackers being very active throughout this game so far. So Brammer on 2nd and 10. This one's to Francis, looking for space up the middle. And he's still on his feet. Francis driving hard, but the Wolverines push that pile back. And Francis is denied any further yardage. Number 96 there, Tom Lowe, playing hard in the middle of that defensive line.
Marked him quite generously there, I think. 3rd and 6 it will be.
So critical down now for both teams. Leicester looking to sustain this drive and take them in with this 2-score lead as they go into the half, and Lancashire looking to deny them and get the ball back for a last-ditch attempt at the end zone before they go in. 81, Tom Singleton-Wells in motion. They do give to him, and he's met immediately in the backfield. Flag goes down, and Tom Singleton-Wells nowhere to go. Great penetration from that defensive line. There is a flag on the field. See if we can pick that up.
I think he may actually have been catching the face mask. That big 77 of the Falcons to bring his man down, but
they're going to bring up 4th down. Looks like this referee's going to wave this one off.
Holding, offence, number 77. The penalty is declined. The result of the play now, 4th down, Leicester.
All right, so the Lancashire Wolverines do hold firm through great back-to-back plays from Tom Lowe, number 96, playing tackle and doing a good job on 2 rundowns to deny these Leicester Falcons any more yards. And we're going to see that strange pump formation again and see what Taylor Brown can do on this one.
Taylor can do something here.
So I guess you've got a kind of triple threat here. You've got Taylor can punt, he can run, he can throw. Let's see what he does. He is going to keep the ball and run with it. He's going to try and get up the sideline for that 1st down.
It's going to come up short.
Just going to be short of that. So, you know, you had the feeling in the waters there, George, that something exciting might be about to happen, and it nearly did. But Taylor Brown denied the 1st down there, and that ball's going to go back to Lancashire.
And that's why you put him in there, I suppose. Give you, as you say, 3-4 options, really.
So what can Lancashire do? They've won the ball back. They've played great defence. They've denied Taylor Brown the glory of a fourth down conversion. And they're at midfield with the football, with time left on the clock.
Looks like the official just calling the 2-minute warning as we speak.
We've seen some short passes from Lancashire, but do they have a deep threat? You know, we're 2 minutes to go. Do they have that deep threat?
Well, from memory, the only time they've tried to throw it deep has been picked by that roaming man at the backfield.
They go play action and they go short. Oh! It's a beautiful hit from Taylor Brown. And I think that's a Leicester Falcons football. That is not an incomplete pass. Took a football move and Taylor Brown punished him. Still.
And that's why you have that man roaming at safety. What a thunderous hit.
Let's look at this play again.
And we'll see it in slow-mo, which also makes it look worse. But
Taylor Brown, it's a clean hit with his shoulder. Doesn't even bother going after the football. Says, hello. Knocks him to his floor. He's still on the ground. Jonathan Lee, who's made an impact on this game, we hope he's okay. But a spectacular defensive play from Taylor Brown. And doesn't bother wrapping up, just dips the shoulder and out comes the football.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure the receiving man, Jonathan Lee, was expecting to see Taylor Brown there. But Taylor Brown was expecting to be there. And he was expecting to lay the boom, and lay the boom he did.
It was a great play by Jonathan Lee. A great play action. David Meads take the ball and then throws on that little slant pass, but obviously into space, and Lee with the speed.
He is up and getting off under his own self-esteem. And,
yeah, well done, Jonathan Lee, for taking that shot. That was a hell of a shot, and it looked like it was going to go Lancashire's way, some yards in front of him, but Taylor Brown, again, such a exciting player to have, and playing defence there in the middle of the field. You've always got to be aware of him, haven't you?
Very much so. And if you are a young defensive player looking to learn how to put fear into the heart of an offence, that is very much how you do it.
Absolutely. So again, Leicester Falcons with the ball with less than 2 minutes to go now in this half. So Lancashire keep making plays, keep driving down the field, keep getting denied by these Falcons. Let's see what Joe Brammer's going to dial up on this first down as we come to the few last minutes of this second half. This is Patterson on the run, and he's going to try and wrestle his way for additional yardage. Picks up about 4.
Lancashire doing a really good job shutting this run game down. Nothing like the Falcons are used to, usually walking, or should I say running all over other teams.
Yeah, it's a good quality defence, isn't it, this Lancashire Wolverines? They've I think they gave up an average of 16 points throughout the 10-game regular season that they played.
And I think when we say that, we should bear in mind that the last game they gave up 51 points.
Yeah, that would have pushed their average up a bit, yeah.
Quite a lot, yeah.
So giving up 18 so far, but playing well, staying with the Leicester Falcons. We know they have a lot of weapons. Brammer now, 2nd and 6, takes the ball. This time it's play action. He's looking for a receiver to come back to him. This time he just throws into space. So Brammer just left his hands awkwardly and falls harmlessly to the turf. Incomplete.
Despite him stepping out of the pocket there, he still had plenty of time on the play. Gabardon running in.
Yeah, Gabardon on the field now. Good call, George. And it's 3rd and 6. We'll see whether the Leicester Falcons are going to try and just run this clock or whether they will go for the first down.
2 running backs out, 1 in and 1 big receiver. So we'll see if they run that spread offense, so that trips to the right or left that they've played once or twice in the first quarter.
Brammer checking his play call sheet now as he comes to the line. 3rd down. Potentially Lancashire could get the ball back here if they don't convert. Brammer takes the snap, looks to his right. He is going to go to that man. Priest again on the comeback. And this time it's complete. Vanaza couldn't get to him, and Priest completes for the first down.
Great play, and as he stepped out of bounds, that will stop the clock.
So the Leicester Falcons not looking to run this clock. They're looking to get more points of their own before they go into this half-time. They're looking to put the nail in the coffin of this first half. So Falcons again, first time. Clock will start running now as Brammer takes the snap, looks to his left-hand side and lofts a big ball up for Tom Singleton-Wells, who can't quite get underneath it. Singleton-Wells that they've been using as that jet sweep guy, but now they're looking to him as an additional receiver. So many weapons as we talked about, but couldn't run under that one.
Quick player, and he may have got there if he stuck an arm out, but slightly overthrown.
Not bad defensive play there from Lancashire Wolverines at all. You know, man in the vicinity. Joe Brammer just needed to time that a little bit better, and maybe Singleton-Wells could have got underneath it. So it brings up 2nd and 10. They're right at the 45-yard line of the 40-yard line of the Lancashire Wolverines. Shotgun, Brammer looking to his right this time. Flag down, and this looks like it's going to be on the defense, I think.
Dead ball prior to the snap. False start. Number 11. 5-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
Well, I'm glad we're not playing that competition, George. False start on the offense. That's going to bring up 3rd and 15. Sorry, 2nd and 15.
That will halt their momentum temporarily as they run 3 down to the left-hand side, the bottom of your screen.
So we've got Singleton-Wells, Gabidon and Watts all to the bottom of your screen here. Priest at the top. Brammer under pressure, scrambles to his right. This time he's going to keep the ball and get his way out of bounds.
Monster hit, and that's going to be a flag.
Coming in from Gabidon, and that's going to be a personal foul against number 7. Noel Kassan not happy about that call at all. That looked like a clean hit to you, George?
It's difficult to gauge when a man's turning around, or a player's turning around and gets laid out from a guy that he doesn't see coming, but we'll see if we can catch it on this replay.
Gabidon trying to protect his quarterback, obviously Brammer scrambling to his left-hand side. No one open. You'll see the defender coming in on number 34, Gabidon right there. Shoulder to shoulder. Yeah, I mean, clearly number 34 can't see the blocker coming in. Obviously the rules now wanting to protect people that are, you know, not protected.
Illegal block from the back, number 7, 15-yard penalty, repeat 2nd down.
You see, again, to me that's borderline, but the rules are in there for safety reasons. You see, I think they're doing this on purpose now, as they drop back to 2nd and very, very long. It seems,
well, it gives them more
seems
space.
to be a Falcons' favourite.
Yeah.
But no, well, you saw it clear as day on the replays. It's shoulder to shoulder. It wasn't a hit in the back, but
certainly Gabidon was not trying to hit him in the back. You know, if it was a foul, inadvertent, it was not a dirty play by Gabidon by any means. 3rd and 20. We've seen the Leicester Falcons do all sorts of, you know, magic tricks from here, haven't we, in the past? Let's see what they can dial up.
I thought he called 2nd and 20. I'm not sure the sideline officials got that right, but
4 receivers out. Brammer drops, steps up into the pocket, points deep, goes deep. Priest is open and makes a beautiful catch over his left-hand shoulder. He just guides that ball into the basket and goes out of bounds.
Yeah, it was a wonderful grab there by Priest, having to look and lock down that ball in the air before bringing it in before the sideline. We'll bring up 1st, and I think they're going to mark him 1st.
Timeout, White. Leicester's 2nd charge timeout of the half.
So Leicester taking the opportunity to take their 2nd timeout, to have a think about what they're going to do. They're on the 9-yard line. Not much time left on the clock coming into the 2nd half. They have a 2-score lead already. They've got a chance really now to stamp their authority all over this game. You can get involved with the show, hashtag LEI versus LAN. What's your view of the first half so far? Been exciting from our perspective, George?
I'm a little bit speechless, as you can tell.
It's not like you, George?
Yeah. I'm surprised that it stayed as close as it has. We've seen the Falcons in this position a number of times around the Wolverines' goal line. The Wolverines really stepping up on defence to stop them. on these goal line runs, and actually Falcons scores coming from further out. Brammer's run, for example, and of course we had Francis's run that got pulled back to 25 yards out before Ugandana ran that in. So we'll see if the Wolverines can shut the offense down here. But it's remained a close game. There's only 2 scores in it. And really, it's what you want from playoff football.
Absolutely. And it flatters the Leicester Falcons a little, the score currently. Certainly if they go in here, it's going to look like a one-sided half. And it hasn't felt like that up here in the stands.
No, I think Wolverines' offense leaves little to be desired at the moment. They need to get that working, but Taylor Brown has caused 2 turnovers, one forced fumble and 1 interception. And we mentioned him as a key player at the start of the game for the Falcons defense, and he's doing what he needs to do.
First down, Joe Brammer going to the air immediately, looking for Kieran Watts, who gets separation, goes to ground, and that will be a score. Kieran Watts, so difficult to defend, gets that separation so easy. He's not the fastest receiver, but he just has tremendous ability to locate the football and good body control to get to a position where Brammer can hit him.
He really did a good job getting separation there, and it made for an easy catch.
So Brammer, after the timeout, going straight to work, the left-hand side of that end zone.
There.
And yeah, I mean, the defender just banging his head. Yeah, what were you doing? Because this is playoff football. So Matt Parker disappointed with himself that he wasn't able to defend Kieran Watts. Point after this time, they go for the kick. No shenanigans this time, but he missed it. Oh, the Leicester Falcons continue to have woes on these extra points, but will they care? The score is 24 to Leicester, 7 to Lancashire.
Yeah, it's a big score, and that is half-time.
So at the death of the half, the Leicester Falcons, through Kieran Watts, extend their lead to 24 to 7, and despite Lancashire doing well, they're not able to close those drives off, and they've not been able to stay with them as far as the scoreline concerned.
It's going to make for an interesting second half, that's for sure, as these guys head into the locker room. And actually, I don't think they do head into the locker room, do they? But as they go off for their half-time talk and see what they can adjust to help both offense and defense for both teams.
So it's been a good first half. The scoreline very much in favour of the Leicester Falcons, but Lancashire Wolverines have shown some promise, and we would hope, if you're a Lancashire fan, that they would come out in the second half and close off some of those drives and get some extra points and make this game competitive. But as it is, George, I think we'll take a break for half-time. We'll bring you some scores when we join you again after the half-time break. But for now, it's 24 to 7. Leicester and Lancashire, and we'll see you after the half-time.
other side with my guitar in my hands, and the notes became alive as the sound caressed the air, and I kicked it up a notch as I strolled without a care, 'cause I'm going down the road to a brand new place, and I'll get there with a smile on my face. Yeah, so lift me up, I'm moving on, singing and dancing while I play my song. Yeah, I'm having a good time, keeping it going. Come on, clap your hands and won't you sing along, and I'll say it up high.
Welcome back to Leicester Road Football Club. We are lined up for the second half, and we're looking forward to a good second half as the Lancashire Wolverines kick this one deep to Kieran Watts, who comes up to, no, it's not Kieran Watts. Oh, this one takes a bounce, and in the end it's Gabadon that picks it up and manages to get it to his 25-yard line, which is where the Leicester Falcons are going to take over. So welcome back, George.
Thank you.
Enjoy the half-time break?
Yeah, it was good. Good food on offer. Make the most of it. Not like the Falcons to make an uncharacteristic mistake there on special teams to start out, so possibly signs of things to come.
Yeah, absolutely. It was number 23 that didn't come up to pick the ball. That's Dewan, who we expected to come up and take that reception but didn't, and Gabadon had to pick it up and cover it himself. So Leicester Falcons will take over at the 25-yard line, so no harm done. As Brammer starts this first series of the second half with two receivers top of the screen, two running backs in the backfield, and they will open their account in the second half with Francis, who's still on his feet, battling away. They managed to haul him down after a gain of about 7. So a decent run for Francis to open up their account in this second half.
Yeah, big gain there by Francis, but well wrapped up by the Wolverines team there. I think they're actually going to mark him for a gain of 8.
So the Wolverines will want to come out and make a stop here if they've got any chance really to get back into this football game, now being 3 scores down against this Leicester. Remember the score at the end of the first half, Leicester 24 and Lancashire 7, with Leicester scoring at the death of that first half on the very last play of the game, with the exception of the extra point with that touchdown to Watts. So they start with the ball now at the 35-yard line. It's a play action, and Brammer goes to the air, and Gabadon drops the football. You don't see that often.
No, slips straight through his fingers there. Whether the pressure of the Wolverines defensive backs closing in on him will bring up 3rd down.
So an uncharacteristic mistake there from Gabadon on the sideline will bring up 3rd down for Brammer and the Falcons. If you're following the other big game in Division 1 between the Sandwell Steelers and the Vikings, that one I believe is 28-21. So they're having a thriller there. We'll try and bring you more details on those scores as this half progresses. But Brammer now on 3rd down, and this looks like it'll be a delay of game penalty. It did seem like there was a long delay. I think that's going to push the Falcons back 5 yards, and they will replay. They may lose the down as well.
Dead ball prior to the snap. False start, number 54, moving the ball prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
The wrong call there. It's a false start, so they blew the play dead. 5-yard penalty, and they'll replay 3rd down. So that's going to make it a little bit tricky out for Leicester to open their account here at the beginning of the second half. Brammer again in shotgun. That defense looking to bring 5. Looks like there'll be a blitz off the right hand of your screen, but it doesn't matter because they hand off to that man Marcus Francis up the middle, and he is going to get all the way for the 1st down.
Yeah, he picks up the first, but it was a great tackle by Jonathan Frayne. We mentioned him a few times, bringing down those bigger runners.
So the Leicester Falcons will get the 1st down right close to midfield now. 5 yards will take them into enemy territory, and they open this second half the way they ended the first, driving the football. Brammer now with Watts and Gabadon to the top of your screen, Priest to the bottom, who's made some critical catches. He will play action and go to Priest on that sideline, and again they connect on that little hook pass, which has been so successful to them for them in the first half.
Venarza really giving him the respect of Priest's speed. Makes the tackle eventually, but not before picking up the 1st down.
It's odd, isn't it? Because that threat, they went deep in the first half, and he's been honouring that threat all the way through the game, but actually didn't score any points on that, and maybe he needs to come up a little. You know, time's ticking away on their season. Maybe it's time to attack the football.
Yeah, very much so. Vinar's kind of 50-50, I would say, going up against the receivers he's faced today. But Priest really getting the better of him, particularly on those little hitches or those curl routes that he's running.
Same formation, first down for Brammer. This time he goes play action again. He's going to go long this time to Priest, and again incomplete. So we were just discussing that, the previous play, that little battle going on. Priest not able to get over the top.
Yeah, Vanaza really has nice deep coverage, very much all over Priest as that ball came into the area.
So it was worth a shot on second down. We will, worth a shot on first down rather, bring up second down, see if they can get that run game going. So Brammer second down on the Lancashire Wolverines 35-yard line with Tom Singleton-Wells in motion, and they hand it off to Singleton-Wells, but that edge is well defended. Wells having to reverse field and looking for space now to the other side, and eventually they corral him out of bounds. So Tom Singleton-Wells having to run about 50 yards for a net gain of about 1 yard.
I'm not even sure they've given him a net gain from where our far sideline official is standing.
So they bring up third down. Very well defended by the Lancashire Wolverines on the edge. They've had some success, haven't they, up the middle, but not able to get around the corner on
very
this.
much so, and that's something that's been lacking against defences within the Falcons conference, is that outside containment. But the Wolverines doing an excellent job so far today, with most of the big gains actually coming off between that guard and tackle.
So let's see what Brammer's got on third down. Already converted on 3rd and 20. This time it's Watts in motion, but he's just going to line up to the left-hand side as they hand the ball off to Francis, and Francis knocking people all over the field. Looked like Skittles, didn't it, there for a second as he barrels his way for that first down.
Yeah, what a great run, and actually I think he's taken a bit of a knock there. And that's that guard tackle gap again that they seem to be aiming for. Francis just following his men, hitting the hole hard, and down his opponent's fall.
Francis making his way a little gingerly to the sideline. Now, when you run with that power, when you run with that strength and you want to punish tacklers at the end of it, it can sometimes take its toll on you as a runner as well.
Very much so, and you just see there following his lead blockers nicely and bowls him over. And actually, the man he bowls over just manages to catch a back leg to bring him down, so full credit to him.
Yeah, Yotam Barant there with the shoestring tackle after taking the full force of Francis right to the top of his body there, but still holding on. So it's first down for the Falcons as they get even closer now on the 21-yard line. Play action again as Brammer spins round, looks for Watts, but didn't really set his feet well enough to be able to get that ball to where he wanted.
Not sure if that was a designed rollout there or not, but good pressure by the Wolverines to force him round to his weak side, to his weak throwing side, should I say.
So the question is, can the Wolverines stay strong on this drive to give them some opportunity to come back into this game? At the moment, 3-score lead, which is probably flattering to the Leicester Falcons, as we said in the first half. This time it's 2nd and 9, so you've got Priest and Watts, but this one's going to be handed off this time to Patterson, who spins off the first tackle, still on his feet, spinning, dancing, pushing his way all the way to the 5-yard line. Patterson, such a great runner. I do enjoy watching Patterson run with the ball, doesn't quit, runs with a lot of energy, just uses his whole body to try and move that ball as far as he can.
Yeah, it really is a very slippery running back. Wolverines needing to find a way to wrap him up. He's really the running back they've struggled with most. I know Francis has got some big pickups, but he's had to work hard for those. Patterson very much seems to just, well, slide right through. And Ogundana as well.
Yeah, Francis is going to knock you out, and then Patterson's going to jump in and spin away. It's this, 1-2-3 punch, as you've said, George, already in this game. So many different styles of running back that these Leicester Falcons have. Brammer under centre this time, misdirection in hands to Gums, who is untouched all the way into the end zone. So the Leicester Falcons do extend their lead, with the Lancashire Wolverines confused on defence as to where that ball was going, and this time Brammer from under centre hands off to Gums, and he just carves his way all the way through.
And that was beautiful misdirection there from Brammer and the two horses in that stable as Patterson runs through first. And you'll look here, we've got a great vantage point. He fakes to Patterson, Gums with his other hand, and straight through.
So simple but so effective. We saw it against Sandwell, exactly the same play, almost exactly the same position on the field. Leicester Falcons doing a really good job, and Brammer doing a good job of handling the football and just disguising the play enough to give Gums the space he needed to score. Brammer under centre again for this 2-point attempt. Haven't converted one yet. They're going to try again with Brammer rolling out to his left, puts the ball up to Kieran Watts, and they do convert. Finally, the 2-pointer goes in for Leicester, and they extend their lead to 32-7. The Leicester Falcons now taking a commanding lead early in this second half. So if you're a Lancashire Wolverines fan, disappointing for you. You would have wanted the Lancashire Wolverines defence to come out and hold strong, but the
and it did look at the start of the drive that they would come out and do that. But, Falcons have a way of grinding through.
Had a quick chat with Adam Gums at half-time. I said, "Are you enjoying the game?" And he said, "Yeah." And you know, expected it to be more difficult, is what he actually said. And he's enjoying his running, and has just scored again to put an exclamation point on that comment. But certainly, when I spoke to him, he said we need to keep doing the same sorts of things we've been doing in the first half.
Say, don't fix what's not broke.
Absolutely, and the Leicester Falcons have been like this all season. Not come up against opposition that can stop them as yet. Undefeated so far this season. This is a line drive kick to the end zone, takes a bounce and will roll out of the end zone for a touchback. So Lancashire Wolverines will line up now, as there's a little bit of shenanigans going on the far sideline, but nothing serious and no flags, players walking away. So we will resume football. Club sponsors for the Leicester Falcons, EHL Commercial. They get the deal done. They're commercial lawyers. They get the deal done, not at any cost, but sometimes the advice may be it's not the right deal, but if it is the right deal, they'll get the deal done without wasting any time at all. Look them up if you need a commercial lawyer, local and passionate as a team about business and ensuring their clients get the best they can get, whatever they set out to achieve. EHL sponsoring the Leicester Falcons. So, as the Lancashire Wolverines line up for their first series of the second half, it will be David Meads who will keep the ball and do it himself to the right-hand side, and he's met by a couple of defenders there. Number 5 coming in to make the tackle on the edge, that's Bill Hefford, who we've called his name a couple of times already.
He's a brave quarterback he is to run like he does. It's a nice 4-yard pickup from him.
Yeah, you can see the pursuit of those linebackers. Nice initial block, but just not able to get to the edge as Hefford comes up to make that tackle and deny Mead any more yardage. Still, he picked up 5, which is a good start to this drive. Let's see if Lancashire can keep the ball moving as they did in the first half. Just weren't able to close those drives out. Mead now looking to his right, and he fires to his right. Oh man, wide open, but the ball slightly behind him. Couldn't get hold of it.
It was a great read by Mead as well. Would have been nice for them to get that pickup, take a nice chunk of yardage up of the field, not to be.
That's Cameron Dermott, the receiver on that one. That ball just slightly thrown behind him. Otherwise, it did look like he was going to run into space. He gives something for these Wolverines to cheer about. So that'll bring up 3rd and 5. They motion Halliwell, but they're going to go deep, and that's well defended by number 25. Not a chance really for the completion there to Schofield. And that's Joel Gregoire who made the play on that. Just perfect positioning there just to bat the ball down. That's going to bring up 4th down for these Wolverines. Mead is back there. Obviously, they punted the ball from this position on the field last time. They had a fantastic punt. See, but Mead, obviously a dual threat. This time he does kick it, and it's blocked this time. Falcons wise to it, and it's picked up by Freuf, who goes to the ground, tries to keep his feet, frustrated with himself that he couldn't take that one in. So a big special teams play by the Leicester Falcons. Freuf recovers, and that will give them 1st down in fantastic field position.
Yeah, that won't be what they were looking for. If they're not careful here, they could end up 40 points to 7.
It's that man again, Jamal Fredericks, on the block. Just managed to get one of those big paws on it. Ball bounces up into the air and Freuf there to grab it, try and make the most of it. But Brammer will be loving this field position as the sun comes out again on this Leicester Road football stadium. Crowd here into the game. Leicester Falcons now looking to put even more on the board. Man in motion to the left-hand side, and they go left with Ogundana with a whole load of blockers in front of him, and Ogundana still on his feet and all the way for the touchdown.
I think they're actually going to call him short.
Oh, you're quite right, George. Good call. So just out of the 1 yard line. Strange decision by Ogundana to go out there and not to kind of dive in. Let's have a look at the replay.
Nice gap that he found to run up. I'm not quite sure. Oh, he does have a man coming across, just pushing him out there at the last.
Yeah, number 10, Matt Parker, just doing enough to edge Ogundana out of bounds, but nevertheless, a good run, and it will bring them first and goal from the 1 yard line. So what started out as a competitive game of football is now looking to be going the Leicester Falcons' way.
Very much so, but we knew the Falcons were capable of this. Having said that, we know somewhere that a Wolverines offence does exist, an effective offence, so we'll see on their next opportunity whether they can get the ball moving again.
Brammer looking for the touchdown himself, scrambling around him with pressure, goes to Priest, and that's incomplete. Sorry, that wasn't Priest, that was Tom Jarrett he was trying to go to there in the end zone. Again, Brammer keeping the play alive under pressure, but not able to connect with Jarrett in the end zone on that play. Still, second and goal.
Brammer very, very good at keeping his eyes downfield and controlling traffic. You see there, he's just pointing out to where a man needs to be.
In the end, Jarrett making a spectacular diving attempt at that football, but not able to bring it in, so that will bring up second and goal. Falcons not in yet. Lancashire have an opportunity for that goal line stand. One play down, 3 to go. Again, Brammer in that shotgun formation, but this time walking up to the line of scrimmage. Changing the formation at the line of scrimmage now is Brammer. Made an audible, but this time it's a botched snap. Brammer picks it up and scrambles around to his right, but he's going to be taken down. And the Wolverines make a great play on second down, and maybe that goal line stand is on. They defend the first one, they get a sack on the second down.
They've been very good in this position. Certainly their defence has tightened up, obviously less space for receivers to run in, but whether Brammer was quite ready for this snap, I'm not sure. His running backs certainly don't look quite ready. But wonderful play by the Wolverines defence to wrap Brammer up, who has been escaping their grasp all day.
Yeah, initial pressure there from number 36, driving that play back inside, and then 2 defenders arrive. Number 81, Alex Mountain, aptly named, pulling him down finally for the sack. Third and goal now from the 8 yard line. Again, the snap is botched. Brammer having to direct traffic, but again under pressure, switches direction, and down he goes. Down goes Brammer, way back. Way back at the 31 yard line. So 2 back-to-back botch snaps, 2 back-to-back snaps, and now a flag flies up.
To be a sportsman-like on Brammer, I would suspect.
And that's just pure frustration from Brammer. I don't know who he's shouting at, but he's scrambling around back there. There he goes, down to the ground. Wow. So things go from bad to worse on that series for the Falcons.
It is 4th and goal still. They will be marched back another 15 yards after that penalty. Is going to put them somewhere in the region of the 50-yard line.
So talk about a goal line stand, George. That's better than that. They've pushed them all the way back into their own half.
And there you go. That will put them on the 43-yard line. This is, of course, a 90-yard field, so 45 is halfway, but a long way from that goal line.
Just the way the Wolverines drew it up in the playbook, I'm sure. So 4th and a long way. So Taylor Brown now in that formation into punt. Not been hugely effective so far, but let's see what he can do on this play. Obviously not going to go for the fake from this, and that's a better kick from Taylor Brown into space. Takes a Wolverines bounce as it bounces into the end zone, and they will bring that out for a touchback. So,
great defensive possession there by the Wolverines that time. Momentum very much in their favour now. If they can get this offense moving, they might well claw this back.
They needed that, Lancashire. Hopefully that will build some confidence in their defence, who have played well so far despite that scoreline, and this offence also played well. As we start this series, remember that Leicester Falcons are also supported by Walkabouts, Plucked, Carrington Arms and DCI Art Form. If you want to find out more about those sponsors, please do look them up. We're grateful for the support. Shotgun snap to Mead. He looks initially to his left, but then goes right. Oh!
Through Beckett's fingers.
Beckett want that one back. This is why they play defence, George.
It is. It is very much why these guys play defence. But how can you miss a linebacker like that when you're looking through your coverage? He's a big boy to miss when you're making your read.
That's one that Mead will be grateful he's been let off, because it brings up 2nd and 10. So Mead again looking for some yards here on this drive. Does go short this time to his receiver, number 8, but that is read really well by number 5, who is Bill Hefford. We've called his name a number of times. Jonathan Lay tried to get away from him, but Hefford zones in on him and pulls him down.
Yeah, just about got back to the line of scrimmage marker. I thought they might mark him down for a loss, but Wolverines really going to have to dig deep now to try and get this first down.
3rd and 10. We've had a pick that wasn't a pick, and we've had one completion but for no yards. So what can Mead do on 3rd down? Looks to his right now, having to scramble to his right. Freuf tries to track him down, can't get him. Oh, and look at that. Mead lowers the boom.
And there is
a flag comes in.
What a great run by Mead. That's exactly what you want to see from your running back. From your quarterback, should I say, running like a running back.
Well, you got nothing to lose. It's the playoffs. Why not put your head down and try and get the extra yards? So Mead initially looking to throw this ball, but sees that there's nothing on, so has to take off. Runs to his right-hand side, picks up some nice blocks from 86 there on the edge, and then boom, hits number 1, who is Chandler Whitaker.
After the play was over, dead ball, personal foul, number 4 of the defence, late hit, out of bounds, 15 yards from the end of the run, 1st down, Wolverines.
It's going to be on Taylor Brown, that penalty.
Well, Taylor Brown, obviously, he's seen Whitaker go to the ground, and he says, I'm not having that. He goes after the cornerback, and he gets a 15-yard penalty. So the Wolverines on the move. Past midfield now into enemy territory. It's a long way back, George, isn't it? But they're doing the right thing.
It would be great to see them get a score here, but this play really seems to be working for them. And Mead's going to try and run again.
Mead again.
I think he's going to get a yard if he's lucky there.
Trying to make something happen with his feet again, Mead.
This motion with Halliwell. If he gets the chance.
2nd and 9, Mead, low snap, John Halliwell bobbles it, handles it, and Fredericks drops him. No gain.
And that partial hesitation by Halliwell as he bubbled the snap. Put him back half a yard is going to bring up 3rd and 10. Same situation they were in just a moment ago with Mead running that 1st down play.
So 3rd and 9.5, 3rd and 10. Halliwell in motion slightly. They're going to fake to Halliwell and look to go deep to number 19, who has good position, but really should have made a better effort on the ball there. That's wide receiver Chris Astley. There was a defender around him, but you felt like he had an opportunity.
Yeah, it's a little difficult to tell, but I think if he had caught it where he landed, he'd have been called out of bounds. But great effort from the Wolverines that time. We've not seen them go deep very often, but I think we will have to see them do that 1 or 2 more times to stand a chance at getting into this game.
4th down, midfield. What do you do, George?
I think with the score...
Time out. First charge, time out, Lancashire.
I think with the scoreline as is, it's playoff football. You're not fighting for a position anymore. You are fighting in the knockout stages. I think you've got to go for it. Your defence hasn't done anything to prove otherwise. They started off well in the first quarter, but have let slip really over the last 2 quarters. I think they need to give it a go. Put one up deep.
So in this timeout, we just want to remind you of our sponsors again. Key sponsors today: EHL, Commercial Law. If you have any commercial law needs, then do get in touch with them. Passionate as a team about their business and their clients. So it's 32-7 in this game. Let's see if we can bring you a score in terms of other games that are going on around the country. Lots of critical games obviously going on throughout the league at the minute as we move into this critical part of the season, whether it's the last game you're playing or whether it's playoff football. We know that the other big game, so we know our games, we know that ours is London Warriors up against the London Blitz, 44-8 in the 4th quarter. So they're winning that battle of the big London Giants in terms of that team.
It actually looks like Sandwell Steelers currently up on the Vikings 33-28 up in the north.
A real shootout there. And I think that's the sort of game we could have had here, had the ball kind of broken Lancashire's way a little better than
very much so.
You know, there is parity between these two divisions, the North and the South in Div 1. It's good to see.
The Aberdeen Roughnecks ahead, 16-14 against the Bulls.
Critical 4th down now for the Lancashire Wolverines as Mead takes the snap. Can they keep this drive alive? Loses his footing slightly, and Taylor Brown was driving hard on that football. Mead just lost his footing slightly. Couldn't, I don't think, get the power behind that ball to get it to his receiver.
Yeah, it was a great read by Mead, but I wouldn't have liked to have been that man there running off, knowing Taylor Brown was stood somewhere in my vicinity as I caught the football.
And that was wide receiver Cameron Dermott trying to make the reception there and keep that play alive, but it is going to go back. It's another turnover on downs, and Leicester Falcons continuing to manage this game. Going back to other scores, the Sandwell Steelers, as you said, George, 33-28. That's a thriller there in that one. And London Olympians up against the Farnham Knights, 23-22. Chester Romans currently in Div 2, beating the Staffordshire Surge, 29-14. So Leicester Falcons first down, back to our game now, close to midfield, and this is Patterson running his way nicely, and a good tackle there eventually by number 51 of Lancashire, and that will be Phil Gregory, who we haven't called yet, but makes a decent tackle, but a good gain from Patterson, gain of about 7. He's going to bring up second down. Falcons now will look to run this clock, won't they? I mean, it's still the 3rd quarter, but they have those weapons at running back that they can just hand the ball off and keep kind of ploughing their way and wearing this defence down.
Usually I'd agree with you, but knowing the Falcons, they'll want to put as many points on this board as possible to make a real statement to those in the playoffs.
So Patterson again, he's getting an opportunity to shine in this series, and he will end up with a first down.
Wolverines just starting to lose that inside containment that they've done so well throughout today.
Yeah, and it's so difficult, isn't it, against a big offensive line. They're powerful, tough runners to bring down, different styles.
Up until this point, there was only really Francis and Ogundana's big drive between them, 85 yards, that amassed a lot of running yards. Of course, Brammer got a nice touchdown as well, but other than that, the general bits and bobs they've not managed to do anything on.
Brammer going to the air this time into Spade. Oh, and in and out of the hands of that receiver there, who was Tom Jarrett, that Brammer was trying to go to. Again, pressure from the Lancashire Wolverines, but not able to get to Brammer. He's so difficult to bring down, isn't he?
He really is, but he keeps his eyes downfield. He's not always quick to release the football, hence why we ended up in that long 50 odd yard and goal situation. Not keen on just throwing the ball out of bounds when under pressure.
So 2nd and 10 after that incompletion. We've had 2 runs, 1 pass, so let's see what Brammer's going to dial up here against the Lancashire Wolverines. And this time it's a muff snap. Patterson does well to rally back to the football and just dive on it, just to save the embarrassment of a turnover, but just looked like a mishandled handoff there between Brammer and Patterson.
Yeah, some little errors, handling errors starting to happen for the Falcons. Perhaps the pressure of those 2 sacks on Brammer earlier putting a little bit of fear, a little bit of nerves into Brammer's head. He didn't look comfortable there handing that off. Not as composed as he has been.
Yeah, Lancashire will be angry that they weren't able to get hold of that ball as Brammer goes to Gabidon on the sideline, dances down the sideline, but I think he was out of bounds. That will be a short gain, which will bring up a 4th down. And that's a gain of about 7, so it's going to bring up a 4th and 3. Interesting field position here for the Falcons. They have confidence in their offence. You would expect, I guess, for them to go for it here.
Brammer's stayed on the field, so they're certainly not looking to go for a field goal. I've seen them try and kick a deep field goal before.
So Gabidon and Jarrett to the top of the screen. Tom Singleton-Wells here at the bottom of your screen, and Patterson in the backfield. They give to Patterson, and that is great defence. Good stuff by the Wolverines to deny them the 1st down. And that was Andrew Stackhouse was the first man there, then joined by a number of Wolverines players to deny them that 1st down.
Yeah, wonderful play that time by the defence, really just blowing that apart. They knew exactly what was coming. 1, 2, 3, 4 players around Patterson as he goes down for a loss.
Well done, Lancashire, on the turnover on downs. They will give the offence an opportunity without allowing a Falcon score. So we'll see what the Wolverines offence, who have been handed a couple of opportunities now by their defence through good play. That goal line stand where they force them all the way back to into their own half is a good example, as Mead takes the ball now, fakes the snap, and he's up the middle and still on his feet as he goes into enemy territory, and a nice play. Almost looked like Ogundana there, didn't he? Spinning,
yeah, he did.
And moving.
Really, really nice running by Mead that time. Sees a seam, thinks I'm going to have this. It takes it all the way. Good 12, 13 yard pickup there from Mead.
So a nice start to this drive after the momentum on the 4th down stop. Again, they've got that fullback in the backfield, but pretty much Mead on his own in the backfield if he is going to run, and he is. He gets a decent block again, and he's swapping hands to protect the football, still on his feet. And he's difficult to bring down, isn't he? He picks up another 10 yards.
He really is. He reads his blockers very, very well. I think they're going to call him short.
Yeah, I think you're right, George. He's just short of that 1st down, so it's going to bring up 2nd and probably less than a yard now. But Mead deciding, you know, nothing to lose, let's go for it, and taking that responsibility on his own shoulders and making yards with his feet. Shotgun snap, 2nd and short, drills the ball in, it is complete, and that will be 1st down.
This is much better football from the Wolverines as they're marching downfield.
So that's Schofield with the completion there to give him the 1st down, gain of 5. And Lancashire Wolverines still with that hurry-up offence that they've had some success with throughout the game. Mead takes a snap. Halliwell up the middle this time. Nothing there. Falcons shut the door very quickly on that one. Those big tackles rallying to make the tackle there.
Halliwell a little hesitant from what we saw of him in the 1st half. I think they're going to give him a yard there.
2nd and 9. Can the Lancashire Wolverines find the end zone? Halliwell in the slot position this time. Mead looks that way, but now he's scrambling to his right. Oh, and down he goes.
Femi will get that sack there, albeit for 2 yards.
Yeah, Adefemi Al now making the tackle there. Mentioned him a couple of times already. George playing well on defence to deny Mead any more yards. In fact, to take some away. So it'll be 3rd and 10. Two backs, Halliwell in motion. It's a pitch out to Halliwell, who will try and find the edge, and does. Stiff arms one man up the sideline, and it's only the save from Beckett, the linebacker.
There is a flag in the backfield. Suspect it might be an illegal hit.
So Halliwell doing a nice job on the pitch to find the open yards. Goes in motion. Mead with the pitch out to Halliwell. It's a little high. He takes it well, and then he's
19 of the offence.
There you go.
10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Repeat third down. That's the end of the third quarter.
Sorry, talking over the referee there, so you might not have got the call, but yes, it was a block in the back, George. And that is the end of the third quarter with the score Leicester 32 and the Lancashire Wolverines 7. Certainly not as close as we would have thought in terms of the score line. You can still get involved with the show. Hashtag LEI versus LAN. And we look forward to reading some of your tweets as we get into this fourth quarter. So we can see a number of you tweeting in around the scores. Andy Buckley-Taylor following along on the game. Chris Anderson following along as well. And a number of you, Katie Hughes, great to see Wayne Gums back on the pitch after his injury last time. Sure is, Katie. He's done well today with that touchdown run. Thank you for all your tweets and comments as we move into this fourth quarter. And we understand you may have joined us also on Facebook for the final quarter. So if you're joining us on Facebook or on the live stream on YouTube, we hope you're enjoying it as this play goes to Halliwell. And it's a great defensive play from number 16, Adefemi. Yeah, done really well there, and he's coming to life towards the end of this game in the second half. Fredericks chases him down initially, and then Adefemi comes up, and just no chance for Halliwell as they play that so well with Fredericks playing one hip and Adefemi playing the other, and they just corral a running back in the backfield for a big loss. Fourth down for Lancashire. 32-7, Leicester lead. Lancashire desperately trying to find a way to get back into this one, as Mead from an empty set and pressure coming lofts one up to Halliwell, and that's going to be picked. And it's Tom Singleton-Wells is it down there in the backfield, and Tom Singleton-Wells, we know he's got the speed, still on his feet, crosses through. It's one lineman to beat, and he's not going to get there. There goes Tom Singleton-Wells, touchdown and good night. Interesting decision there to have Tom Singleton-Wells back there playing defensive back. We've seen him on offense, but the impact play that he makes there is from a defensive perspective.
So you see here, it wasn't a clean release, very much lofted up, and it's just hovered enough time for Singleton-Wells to read where it is. Well, and the rest is history, as they say.
Yeah, he's about the worst man you would hope to get the pick, isn't he, if you're a Lancashire fan. Some nice blocks as well going in here, and then a valiant attempt to try and get him to sideline from the offensive lineman, who just didn't have the angle to make that tackle. And Tom Singleton-Wells all the way, 70 yards, touchdown, and it's pretty much put the nail in the coffin for the Wolverines.
I would be very, very impressed if they could score 31 points in this fourth quarter, but nothing is impossible.
So this time Brammer lining up for this two-point attempt here. Brammer with Francis and Gums, I believe, or is that Ogundana actually next to him? Brammer's going to take it himself, rolls to his right, and well defended.
Nice break up that time by that man. We've named him a couple times, Vanessa.
Yeah, he defends that well on the rollout from Brammer. They've not had a huge success Gabadon actually gone down in the end zone, number 7, still down at the moment with the physios coming out. Don't know what happened. That was an off-the-ball incident for Gabadon, and that'll be a concern for the Leicester Falcons.
Just cramped by the looks of it.
You can see on your
that
screen.
That was the wrong angle to come in up there.
You can see on your screen now Gabadon getting some treatment from the physios. As George said, probably just a bit of cramp. So, we are going to take a break, which gives us an opportunity to mention sponsors that helping Leicester Falcons with their season this year. Walkabouts, serving delicious food inspired by our mates back in Oz. Carrington Arms, a traditional country pub creating a warm and comfortable welcome to customers. Plucked, our mission is simple. We want to serve you the best plucking wings in town. Got to get the commentary right.
Got to get it in. Just be careful, because it's a bit of a tongue twister.
DCI Art Form. They create insight-driven retail solutions.
Have you ever had any plucked chicken?
I've not.
It is very, very good. They're often down here on a game day.
I shall have to try it myself. So we are back to the action with Gabadon still getting some treatment, but this time on the sideline, so we can restart here. It's the Leicester Falcons with a big lead now, 38-7 over the Lancashire Wolverines. Lancashire will look to return this one. It is going to go to Schofield, who takes it well on the run up at his 20-yard line, looking to his right, and he finds a gap. Kicker to beat, and kicker manages to bring him down. So Tom Jarrett doing a nice job on the kick.
Great effort by Schofield there. Exactly what you want to see. They may be down, but they're certainly not out. I'd love to see them get a score here.
Yeah, and I think that it would be deserving if they did, because they've had opportunities throughout. They just haven't been able to close out these drives.
They've struggled, I think, more on offense than they have on defense, although the score would say otherwise. Defense certainly through the first 2 quarters held out fairly well, and they've actually not allowed that many points this half either. But, their offense isn't really helping them out so far.
1st and 10 for these Wolverines. Looks like there may be a change at quarterback or some sort of positional shift here as Jasper Kelly comes in at quarterback for the Lancashire Wolverines, takes the ball, hands off, and Frife meets him and drives the running back.
I don't know if this is a Mead is hurt situation or whether they've kind of resigned to the fact that they're not going to win and given their second stringers a bit of a go in playoff situations.
Yeah, Martin Ashworth in as well at running back, replacing Halliwell. So we'll see how this pair get on in the backfield as quarterback takes the snap and drills this one to the ground. Difficult to come on the 4th quarter of a playoff competition, isn't it? But I guess, you know, the Lancashire Wolverines there, their head coach was saying to us before the game started, they had no real expectations this season. They've done very well. They want to give some players some opportunity.
Very much so. And there's a lot of teams that would be relegated from the Premiership that would go on to have an absolutely disastrous season. We look at the Jets, for example, who aren't long removed from the Premiership, who have been relegated again to Division 2.
Oh, Frife coming up with the hit there again. That's Schofield on the end around, and Frife is just now on 2 consecutive plays met these Lancashire Wolverines at the line of scrimmage and denied them these extra yards.
But yeah, full credit to the Wolverines for what they've done this season. 7-2-1, a good feat by any means. Yeah,
absolutely. And the only team that was able to defeat them this season was their rivals, other than obviously than the Leicester Falcons today. It certainly looks that way at the moment. Was the Northumberland Vikings, who were still battling it out, I understand, against Sandwell. We'll try and bring you an update on that. 4th down as it goes back to throw, and this one's going to fall incomplete as well. So on 4th down, Jasper Kelly can't connect with his receiver, Paul Schofield. Sorry, not Paul Schofield. James Schofield. And that will be a turnover on downs to the Leicester Falcons, and Frife playing excellent defensive football on that drive. See if I can bring you any score updates from around the league as we get the turnover here.
Tamworth, who were playing the Sheffield Giants today, are winning that in the 2nd quarter, 33-6. The Warriors blitz score is one I think very few people would expect. 51-8 to the Warriors.
Wow.
Absolutely
Don't
dominant.
see that often.
And then, of course, the big game for today in regards to these two teams, the Northumberland Vikings ahead over the Sandwell Steelers 34-33.
Wow, 1 point in it as Ogundana takes this ball all the way to the end zone.
Look at
the Leicester
speed.
Falcons are just having their way now with these Wolverines, perhaps because they put some backups on.
Very much so, but Ogundana just went through that like lightning.
Yeah, unless you defend it well, Ogundana is going to punish you, isn't he? And he's
big holes, great blocking, and he just, well, waltzes into the end zone, really.
280 yards last week, a touchdown this week. He's an entertaining runner to watch, Ogundana, and he'll be looking forward to his semi-final opportunities, whoever that might be. So 1 point in it in the other game in this in Div 1.
Yeah, I'm not sure how long remains of that game.
But here, the Leicester Falcons are really dominating this second half now. Number 6 in at quarterback, AJ Mepstead, who we've seen before. Good quarterback who looks to Kieran Watts this time to try and get this two-pointer, but is unsuccessful. So the 2-point woes continue for Leicester, but it won't matter to them because they are way ahead. Leicester 44, Lancashire 7, and they'll line up for the kickoff here. So we are just about, in terms of Leicester Falcons, entering into party mode. There's some balloons by the sideline, 100, and I assume that that's for our lineman here that's in his 100th game, Richard Swain. Screech on the sideline, dancing away, and it's that party kind of atmosphere. It's been an important game for Leicester Falcons, hasn't it?
It has. They struggled in last year's playoffs. They, of course, they won this division last year before falling to the Manchester Titans, who actually went on to be crowned winners of Division 1 and ended up in the Premiership, and actually have done very, very well in the Premiership. I think even making playoffs this year. So they will be much, much happier with this round's playoff performance.
They certainly will, as Tom Jarrett looks to kick this one away again, and it's driving. Again, Schofield will have an opportunity. The bounce is awkward for him, and he's just got to go to ground. Knee goes down, and Jarrett can't do anything with it. And a previous one that bounced up, but sometimes the bounce doesn't go your way, and for Lancashire, it's been like that pretty much the whole game.
Yeah, very much so, and things really starting to get away from them. I think they'll be trying to get a consolation score here, but again, I think we see their backups coming out.
So we'll try and bring you an update from those other games going on as we as the Lancashire Wolverines, again with their backups in. Number 37, Jasper Kelly, still back at receiver, getting some experience for the future. And that's obviously a decision by Alex Dunn to get some backup players in there in this playoff final, give them a taste of what playoff football feels like.
That game up in Newcastle, or Northumberland, should I say. They are currently awaiting the extra point. There's been a bit of an injury delay with about a minute remaining on the fourth quarter clock for the Steelers to try and steal a victory.
Wow, so you're telling me there's an extra point.
There is an extra
and
point
that's
to
to
come.
Sandwell, and it's 34-33 currently. As Halliwell tries to turn the corner on his Falcons defense, and a horde of Falcons are there to meet him.
The extra point is for the Vikings, I think, from how it reads, with and that will give Sandwell the opportunity to try and steal a win. So if they do get the extra point, it'll be 35-33 to the Vikings. But again, just an injury delay up there.
So the Vikings look like they're 1 point ahead, potentially 2 points ahead. In our game, it's Leicester, and they try and get that one to Halliwell, I believe, who's not able to hold on to that one. Sorry, that's Martin Ashworth.
Just limping off the field. I'm not quite sure if he landed awkwardly there, but bring up fourth down.
So the Wolverines continue to give these young guys some more experience of playoff football. We'll see what they can do on fourth down as they bring in 4 wide receivers, including some of their starters, back onto the field to help this young quarterback out. He takes the snap, pressure coming, steps up into the pocket nicely. Oh, he avoids a couple of men, and you almost were willing him on, weren't you? There? I mean, he looks very slight next to these large Leicester Falcons defensive linemen bearing down on him, but he holds his own, but not able to convert on fourth down.
Very much so. 6 points away from a 50 burger of these Falcons. Hopefully the Wolverines can hold strong. You don't want to see a 50 burger in playoff football.
No, not given the tone of this game, which is, it would be unfair on the Lancashire Wolverines, I feel, if the score got to that stage, because it has been competitive. But as we find so often with the teams that we cover when playing the Leicester Falcons, you can compete with them, some of the time.
For the first half, usually, but the depth of player quality really shines through in the second.
Exactly, George, yeah. That's so hard to compete with these Falcons for all 4 quarters.
New quarterback in.
Mepstead hands off to Patterson on the right-hand side this time, and Patterson picking up a few more yards, so 5 yards that time for Patterson. And if you're Leicester now, it's just a case of managing the football, not having a turnover, and seeing this game out and finishing strong, getting ready for the semi-finals now. Do you think it will bother Leicester Falcons who they get in the final? Will they be wanting Sandwell again, or will they be thinking Steelers, or is that not the way the semi-final is going to go?
I would think they'd want Sandwell again, knowing that they've had the beating of them twice. But looking at the semi-final score, I would.
Oh, and it's a nice pick there from number 33 on Lancashire. Let's see what he can do with the ball as he works his way towards the sideline, exactly as you're supposed to do, and
gets laid out.
Gets laid out by Luke Bowden, who's our offensive lineman, and kind of just ran straight into him. Nevertheless,
it looked like
a very nice play from David Parker.
David Parker, nice grab as well. And looks to take it upfield.
Catches it in the end zone. Initially gets a good block, but now you've got those offensive linemen who've got a chance to get over it. Just lowers his head, and just like running into a brick wall.
Very much so. Certainly, despite the score, they've not given up on today, and nice to see the defense still making plays there.
Well, despite that, Leicester Falcons offense still on the field, so I'm not sure whether we've missed something in terms of the turnover there, whether that was... no, they are going to go. So the Leicester
Wolverines offense and Falcons offense on the field,
and
no defense. So
just spar it out.
Yes.
See what happens. But the Leicester Falcons offense now coming off the field. It was a turnover. So David Parker, that turnover will stand. So well done, Lancashire. And I imagine, from Alex Dunn's perspective, he'll be happy with that, because those are backups on the field. David Parker, we've not called his name yet. Presumably he's gone in and he's made an impact, and that gives him a reference point for future games, having made a big play in a playoff football match like this one.
Looks like that running back Halliwell is back in.
So Jasper Kelly's still in at quarterback this time. He will give to the experienced Halliwell, who is going to have a good run. Yeah. Actually on first down for 6-7 yards.
Carves his way through the defense that time.
So Halliwell trying to restore some pride to this Lancashire Wolverines team. And the quarterback Jasper Kelly getting good experience here, getting the signals in from the sideline, checking with the coaches, now ready to run his play on 2nd and short. Muffs the snap, but Halliwell helps him out there. Falcons all over that one, so that will go for a loss of about a yard, bringing up 3rd and 3. So just needs a little bit more practice handling those snaps, and I guess that's why you would put a young quarterback like that in at this point in the game. So in terms of the Falcons' opportunity, as they're obviously going to win this game today, they're then going to move on to semi-finals. As you mentioned before, they were expected really to be playing Premiership football this time. This time last year, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. and they'll have been disappointed not to get there. But, you know, we look at the other semi-final, and that's drawing to a close. Bring up about 4th and inches. Drawing to a close. They'll be looking twice, I think, to see what's gone up there, or happened up there, as to who they want to be playing. As we said, Sandwell are the team they've beaten twice already, but Newcastle a very strong outfit, that's for sure.
4th and short, and Halliwell squirts forward for the first down to keep this drive going, which is good news for these young Lancashire players getting the experience today. So Jasper Kelly guiding his Lancashire Wolverines offense to a new set of downs with the help of Halliwell. And in terms of that playoff picture now, things becoming clearer and clearer. You still think Leicester, the favourites to win that Premiership promotion?
I think in the North at the moment, looking at the scores.
So this is Halliwell running to his left and does a good job, 7 yards before tackled by number 41 on the Leicester roster, but we don't have a name for him, unfortunately. It denies John Halliwell any more yards.
Good strong running from Halliwell that time.
Lancashire can be happy with their performance today, but they might not be happy with the scoreline. I think there was lots of things for them to be happy about. The running game worked well. They were able to drive the ball well against a good Leicester Falcons defence. Their defence played well, that goal line stand that they had, but in the end, Leicester Falcons just had too much for them.
Very much so, and I think Lancashire showing that they do deserve to be in this situation. This isn't a worse score than anyone else the Falcons have played throughout this year.
Jasper Kelly keeping the ball himself this time, trying to find that edge, and he does, but only for a yard or so. Jasper Kelly showing some quick feet to avoid some Leicester Falcons players on the sideline, and there is a Leicester Falcons player that's down, and we will see what that injury is. Players are calling those physios over quite quickly.
The Falcons have really blown apart any team that they've come up against so far. So this score, whilst we'd have loved to have seen a much closer game, I don't think it's a massive surprise. They do tend to pull away in the second half. Lancashire started out strong, and as we both thought, oh, this could be a real close game. But the Falcons doing what the Falcons do and just flying away from the opposition.
Just a chance where we have this injury timeout to mention the sponsors of the Leicester Falcons Club, EHL Commercial Law. They get the deal done, not at any cost. Sometimes the advice may be it's not the right deal, but if it is the right deal, they get the deal done. It's EHL Commercial Law. Do look them up if you have that requirement. So AJ Mepstead now the quarterback for Leicester Falcons. They've brought on their backup, and we've also got Jasper Kelly, number 37, on for Lancashire Wolverines, and these backups have come on and have played well. There doesn't seem to be any fall off in terms of yardage whenever Mepstead comes on. We saw him against the Shropshire Revolution, actually. Self and James, I think, covered that game, and you know, he was a good quarterback that manages the game well. So it's a serious injury. We've got an injury here, but our player's up, number 41, and he's walking back to the huddle, which is good. We don't actually have a name for this player, but we're glad to see him up and coming back to Leicester Falcons sideline. In the other game between Sandwell and Northumberland, we understand that there's seconds left in that game, but there's this long injury timeout before they're able actually to call it. So that scoreline that we've been reporting on, I think it was 34-33, is that right, George?
Yes, with a Vikings extra point to come.
So we can't give you an update because there isn't one yet, so still not sure who the next opponents in the semi-final are going to be, as Halliwell with a stiff arm on 3rd and short keeps this drive moving for the Lancashire Wolverines.
Good strong running there again from Halliwell.
Yeah, he's played well today, I think, Halliwell. He's had, they've been unlucky a number of times on offence, but Halliwell certainly shown what he's all about.
Yeah, certainly never given up, that's for sure.
an experienced running back, and he looks the part. And in person, you know, he's an imposing running back as well, isn't he? He's not a small guy. He's got good feet.
Yeah, good build for a running back.
1st and 10 then, as the Wolverines, led by Jasper Kelly, keep this drive going. Jasper Kelly again handing off to Halliwell, and he's met by Freuf for a gain of about 3. Interesting, looking at other scores from around the league, the Hertfordshire Cheetahs were playing the London Blitz B team today, and the Cheetahs coming out on, certainly in the 4th quarter anyway, scored 38-18 in that one. Sheffield Giants against Merseyside Nighthawks, that one ended 31-28 in the Prem North.
Timeout's been called.
And that will be your game. So it is the Leicester Falcons that will progress to the semi-final of this competition, and it's Leicester 44, Lancashire 7, in what ended up being a one-sided game in the end, certainly in terms of the scoreline. But from watching it here, there were times in which the Lancashire Wolverines were competitive or highly competitive. For whatever reason, the breaks didn't go their way. They weren't able to close out those drives. And as you said, George, competing with the Leicester Falcons over 4 quarters is a tall order.
Yeah, and I think really where it's fallen down for them is the depth that they've got at positions, unlike the Falcons, who have got 3, 4, 5 quality running backs, good, strong receivers across the board. As we mentioned, 3 or 4 quarterbacks are able to come in with very little negative effect. The Wolverines, that first quarter and in most of the second quarter as well, looked really strong. I think the game was certainly on at that point, but coming out after the half-time break, the Falcons really stepped it up a gear, and you end up with a score 44-7.
Yeah, they do seem to have that ability, don't they, the Leicester Falcons, just to step it up, as you say, into that other level and just take it out of reach of these teams that may be competing with them. And what you notice about Leicester Falcons, often at the beginning of the second half, they come out strong. Again, they did that against Sandwell. They've done it here today. Come out, score early on that first drive in the 3rd quarter and try and put that game away. And then I think it was Tom Singleton-Wells really put the nail in the coffin with that interception return for 70 yards.
Absolutely, but Lancashire have got some wonderful players out there. We look at Mead, who certainly a strong running quarterback, got a few completions as well. And then we had that great interception from David Parker to turn the ball over as well. So, they never gave up. They had all the heart there as well. Halliwell, of course, a strong running back. But the bits just didn't quite click when it came to this playoff game. But it leaves you wondering what they can do next year. A year removed now from the Premiership, making it back to the playoffs. Certainly they could own that Northern Division this time next year.
Yeah, absolutely. Lancashire Wolverines showing a lot of class in this game. We would have hoped it was going to be a closer one, and maybe the score would have reflected that. Should have reflected that. Should have been a closer score, because Lancashire didn't play badly by any means. They gave this Leicester Falcons team something to fight at, something to go at.
Solid running back as he just walks past your camera there. Halliwell.
Yeah, Halliwell, Schofield, Mead. They've done well today, and they should be proud of themselves in terms of the way they performed this whole season. Again, other than the Leicester Falcons, they haven't been beaten by any other teams except the Northumberland Vikings. Both of those games were close, but lots to build on for this team next season.
And then, of course, the Falcons, they'll be eagerly waiting the finish of that other conference game with a one-point game as it stands currently, although we are led to believe they're waiting for an ambulance to arrive on field.
Yeah, we know what that's like. That could be a long wait. It depends on the nature and the severity of the injury.
Very much so. Of course, we hope the player all the best, or wish the player all the best. But, with the Falcons dominating the Wolverines 44-7, you would like to think at this point, if you were a betting man, that you'd be betting on the Falcons to win in the semi-final.
Yeah, and the overall perceptions of Falcons, anyone that's put in front of them, they have the same. They don't go out and do anything different. They use that simple run formation that they have, you know, running back to one side, running back to the other, bit of misdirection, but mostly it's just full in-your-face offensive line, block you off the line, inside zone running plays, and they make that hugely effective, and they build their offense from there.
Yeah, and as long as your offensive line are making the right reads on those read option plays, it's very, very difficult to stop.
Yeah, so it's full time here at Leicester Road Football Club with the score Leicester Falcons 44 and the Lancashire Wolverines 7. We will join you for our post-game show, so we hope you stick around for that, and hopefully be able to give you an update on the score from the other critical games in this Division 1. So we'll see you in a moment for the post-game show. Welcome back, everyone, to the Leicester Road Football Club here at Hinckley with the full-time score: the Leicester Falcons 44, the Lancashire Wolverines 7. And the game that we would hope would have been close, George, wasn't really in the end the exciting game of offensive football that we wanted, at least on Lancashire's side.
Yeah, but again, we've just set it up in the booth. They've got a lot of promise. I don't think they obviously gave it their all, certainly through the first half and third quarter, bringing in their backups towards the latter part of the fourth quarter, but definitely got something to give and something to work off next year.
Yeah, absolutely. Lancashire Wolverines have had a fantastic season. They go down to the Leicester Falcons today, but it's been a season, as we heard from Alex Dunn at the beginning of the show in our pre-match interview with him, that the expectations from his perspective were fairly low. They had a dire season last season in the Premiership. They come back down, and they've played really well in this Div 1 North. Yeah,
and I think they've proven that they can rebuild, regrow. I spoke to somebody last week about the Premiership and what they thought. Obviously, East Kilbride, the next victor, as it were, to the new age, let's call it. A team that's been prominent in that Premiership North for a long time, coming down, not winning a game all year, but seeing rise to teams like the Falcons, like Manchester, who are really building more than just a team, building a family, building a proper program, junior programs, youth programs involved, and those more senior teams falling apart and just being caught off guard a little, I think.
Yeah, almost that changing of the guard, isn't it? As you say, that new wave of teams coming through, Tamworth, I guess, being one of those as well. The junior program from a number of years ago, and have built the program to the point where they are now the national champions and looking good in the Premiership. Wolverines similarly building for their future.
Yeah, very much so. I'm not quite sure about their program. I don't know too much. They used to have a junior program. I don't believe it's still operational. But there are a number of teams in and around the area that the team train in that do have those youth programs. So in the area, they'll be looking to build, I'm sure. Yeah,
and celebrating their 30th. We didn't mention that, actually. They're celebrating their 30th anniversary this year, the Lancashire Wolverines. So a program that's been around for a long time, and we hope a long time to come. And we've enjoyed watching them this season, and we enjoyed some of their stars on show today. But let's turn our attention to these Leicester Falcons for a moment. Post-game comments from you, George, on their performance today. What will the coach be happy about?
Well, he's got so much to be happy about, hasn't he? Getting the win, the playoff win, that's a bit of a monkey off the back, as it were. The offence running smoothly. A slow start, but I think the big thing for them will be, whilst I know they had the penalties, the ill-disciplined penalties, the silly penalties, nowhere near the amount of penalties that they have been known to have in the past.
Yeah.
So I think from that perspective, he'll be very, very happy. The running game, doing what the running game does best. The passing game worked when it needed to, although they didn't go to it as much as they have done. Brammer, despite those 2 sacks, had a very, very good game, controlling that offence. So from the offensive side of things, they've got a lot to be happy for. And then 7 points. From a defensive perspective, and you've just seen it actually there on your screen at home. Taylor Brown with his first turnover of the game, later causing a forced fumble. I think the defence will be very, very happy.
Yeah, Taylor Brown's highlights were again spectacular, weren't they, with the pick and then the interception and then that hit on number 8. Unfortunately, number 8 that went down. Taylor Brown just meeting him there, not even bothering to actually chase the football on that play. But you're just watching Ogundana going into the end zone. We've talked about it so often. Such a great staple of running backs that they've got, these Leicester Falcons. But, you know, you're watching there's the hit from Taylor Brown that we were just referring to there as the ball just squirts out. I think it was Lay that went down, and he did lie down for a bit while he recovered from that one. But Taylor Brown just doing an excellent job. I believe Leicester Falcons, you might be able to hear some clapping in the background. Richard Swain obviously playing his 100th game today.
Richard Swain actually behind us.
And I think we're going to get Richard in for an interview to talk to him. So Richard and Tom, come in. Very good to see you. In fact, I will stand over here so that Tom Singleton Wells, good to see you. Welcome. Richard Swain, good to see you. Congratulations.
You are a very, very big man.
Can you get us all on the camera there? So we're all on the camera. So let's start with Tom. Tom, well done today, Leicester Falcons. A good performance. How did you feel it went from your perspective?
really, really well. You know, it's one of those games, you know, you go back to the square one, 0, you know, 0-0, now we're 1-0. Go out, execute our plan, shot ourselves in the foot a few times with, you know, silly penalties, but went out, got the you know, job done. So yeah, really happy with that. Yeah.
And Richard, how about you? It's your 100th game. It's a playoff victory. Does this must feel good from your perspective?
Yeah, definitely. Get to go for 101 now. So, yeah, enjoyed it.
Excellent, good job. And we're celebrating 100 games for you. Is this one of the highlights? What are the other highlights? Just quickly talk us through some of other highlight games that you've had over the years.
First game playing Tamworth and winning, which was nice.
A long time since they've lost a game.
Yeah, I know. That was back in 2008. And then the 2009 Brit Bowl, the big one. 2011 Brit Bowl, try and forget about. 2016 was good. And this year, it's a good atmosphere, great atmosphere in the team. So,
another year in you?
Several. I'm not going to quit until my knees quit.
Excellent. And Tom, we normally see you making plays on offence, but today defence. I mean, you're back there as a defensive back. Pick the ball up here, and we thought to ourselves up in the booth, well, that's the wrong man you want to throw the ball to if you're going to throw a pick, and you return it all the way for the touchdown. Talk us through that play.
Well, it's just like, you know, rep and practice. It's just a case of, you know, they're down by quite a lot of points. You know, they're going to go for it. They're going to try and claw back as much as they can. So you just got to watch out for that pass. Coach is screaming it from the sideline. So most people say, why'd you pick that off on 4th down? We would have got good yardage down there. But, you know, it's a case of I knew the defence could block well. We practiced that, you know, all the time. So I was like, just trusting them and try and return it.
And you've got an excellent group of not just offensive linemen but wide receivers as well. But coming to the O-line, because we don't talk about that enough, do we, Richard? But how important is this offensive line to the overall coherence of this offense?
We always like to say we're the one true unit. We have our socials. We always lots of team bonding just to make sure we're all working together. And then we just talk a lot. Communication's key for us. I mean, it's great being big. It's great being able to push people around when you get a chance. But if we're not talking, if we don't trust each other, and that's the key thing for us. Lots of trust.
Yeah, excellent. And you do have both a stable of great running backs, but also a stable of great receivers. You've got Gabadon, you've got yourself, Tom, you've got people like Kieran Watts. You know, there's so many weapons on this offense. What's it like playing with that stable of wide receivers that you've got?
I think, you know, it's one of those things that you don't always get in British football. You know, having that ability to rep in, rep out. You know, if I need a rest and everyone on play, we've got, you know, just a bundle of guys that can just come in and do the exact same thing, same intensity, and, you know, can make plays. So it's really good having that sort of depth there and the ability just to keep us fresh and going 100% the whole time. So yeah.
Richard, last word from you. Looking forward to the semi-final now?
Yes. Yeah. We played in pre-season. I think we've both grown so much since the start. It's going to be a good game. It's going to be a good game.
Excellent. We look forward to hopefully covering that one with you. Tom, congratulations on the win. Richard, congratulations on 100 games. Fantastic job. And we hope to see you soon. Thanks very much for joining us. There you go, straight from the players there, George. And a humble group of players, aren't they? They're not full of themselves, these Leicester. They take it one game at a time and see what they can do.
I think teams that are at the top of the game often have a bit of a bad rapport about them. I think it's fair to say, but they're a humble group, and a lot of people will say, oh, they're full of Americans. But actually, from what I've seen and talking to some of the other players in the team, all the Americans have done is help progress the programme and turn the players into a better quality team.
Yeah, absolutely right. We've got some other interviews lined up as well. We want to bring Joe Brammer in, and we want to bring Noel in. So, Joe Brammer, congratulations. I remember meeting you on the field many times. I'm glad I didn't meet you today. Noel, congratulations, head coach. Let's start with Joe. Joe, tell us about, there's Richard holding his daughter up behind you, but talk about the game today, Joe. Great game for you. How did you feel it went?
It's nice to have a bit of a challenge. I think, it's nice to see teams from the north as well and compete against a new opponent we haven't seen this season. But, I think after the first quarter, we settled in and then we were in control of the game. We weren't always scoring, but, we knew what we wanted to do, keep the clock going and keep us in charge, and that's what we did. So really it's all about that O-line and the coordinating, especially on defense. The first half, actually, the biggest problem was we had 3 and outs all the time and we were dying, so we're just too tired. But yeah, it's good.
It does seem, Noel, that teams can compete with you for short periods of time, but George was saying in the booth, difficult to compete with this Leicester Falcons team over 4 quarters, and that seemed to be what happened today. What was your take on it?
Yeah, we just got great depth, really. I think you said, didn't you? I think all across the park we've got great depth. So run teams out, they were trying to lose them, saying, "Listen, you're doing really well first quarter, but you've got another 3 quarters to go." Like Joe said, it was hard first half. I think they did really well. But like I said, I went up to watch them last week, and they did the same. They were 21-0 up against Newcastle, and then it does seem to run out of steam. They try and play that quick offence, which really doesn't work for them. But no, we played really well. There's no serious injuries either, which is good to come out of that. And we're back next week down here.
So it sounds like it's just been confirmed the Vikings have beaten the Steelers 34-33. What are your feelings on that next week, Joe?
I mean, it wouldn't have mattered either way. I think we're just going to play whoever's in front of us. Cover 2 is cover 2 to me, really. I think it's not going to matter. But I think it's going to be a big defense game. Defense is going to be the one that matters next game. We're going to score. Definitely going to score. And I think they're going to score too. And so it's just whose defense comes up on the day. So I'm really looking forward to see, Taylor had a great game today, but our defense is a lot more than Taylor Brown, and that's why we're still going and still winning. So I'm really looking forward to just seeing these guys step up. The British guys especially.
And Noel, I suppose after last year, the Manchester Titans and not being able to get yourself into Prem football, a lot of people thought Leicester Falcons were going to be playing Prem football this year. The win today, the semi-final next week, is going to be even more that feeling of needing to get there, isn't there?
Oh, without doubt. I won't be sleeping all week waiting for the game. So no, we'll just prepare like we normally do. We'll train on Thursday, we'll watch film. We know they've got a quick quarterback, we know he runs out, and we know number 1 is a good player as well, but I don't know his name. So we'll just train for that and prep for that, and bring on that. I can't wait. I wish it was now. Bring them, I wish it was tomorrow, to be honest with you. But
I think your players need a rest, Noel.
No rest.
No, I don't want that.
No.
All right, so it sounds like these Leicester Falcons are ready to play today. Congratulations today, Joe. Excellent watching you scrambling about, making plays. Really exciting stuff. Noel, well done. Congratulations on another great win. And hopefully we'll see you next week.
Go and eat another chicken store out of produce.
So there you go. You've got Noel Cassar there, head coach of Leicester Falcons, and you've got Joe Brammer as well coming in to give us an interview. And again, interesting what Joe Brammer was saying around, whoever they put in front of him, they're going to make sure that they get the win.
Yeah, so of course, moving away from onside, just for a moment, we've got the junior finals coming up.
Right.
The British finals coming up next week. We've got a game on the Saturday, which I think is the 26th, 4 p.m. kickoff in Leeds.
Mm-hmm.
That's the national Britball final. That's between the Manchester Titans and the London Blitz, who will be looking to retain their title. And on the Sunday at 1 p.m. Will be the plate final, and that will be Hertfordshire Cheetahs, first time in their history for the junior programme in playoff football, facing off against the East Kilbride Pirates, who were last year's champions of the North. So that will be a big game to come, and hopefully another spectacular game for you guys viewing at home.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to some of those. I mean, adult football, but we're looking forward to those junior games as well. So much competitiveness in those games, so much passion in those young players, and of course you're looking at the future of the game. So we hope very much that you tune in and support those teams as well, George.
I'm going to beat you to it. Just moving back to this game, I'm moving around like those running backs today.
You carry on, George.
I'm moving around like those running backs today, but man of the match. Man of the game, MVP.
Yeah, difficult one, isn't it? So much to look at. I think Brammer played an excellent game today. I'd probably go with Joe just because he came and did an interview with us, so why not?
Fair enough.
But yeah, played well. Difficult to choose with Leicester. They have so many great players. Taylor Brown, obviously, very good again, but I think Joe Brammer managed the game very well. Didn't make a lot of mistakes, and where he did make mistakes was able to deal with them quickly. So, yeah, good question, George. How about you?
That's a difficult question.
I think you asked me.
I know, because I was trying to catch you off guard. I think I'd probably go with Joe. I know he had a little bit of a disciplinary issue on a couple of occasions, but he threw some nice balls to Priest, some nice completions to Gabadon, to Watts as well. The running backs played outstanding. Marcus Francis as well.
Yeah.
But really, Brammer did a great job controlling the game, and I think I'd be inclined to agree with you.
Excellent. Well, the final score here at Leicester Road Football Club was the Leicester Falcons 44 and the Lancashire Wolverines 7. I've thoroughly enjoyed the coverage. Thank you very much for joining me, George. It's been fantastic. And thank you to the production team here with Steve and Tom and James and Sean on the camera. We look forward to seeing you next weekend as well for more football, both under-19s action and we hope senior football as well. But from all of us here at Leicester Road Football Club, thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll see you soon for more playoff football. Bye for now.